And going live in 5, 4.
Hello everyone, welcome to Style Esports. My name is Shinkari and I'm joined by RareAdam, and we have two teams from the same org tonight. Madison Esports has brought two teams to bear. 4Cheese Blend up against Camembert. It's the battle of University of Wisconsin here, as both these teams are looking to duke it out on the Rift. We are already through our bans right here, and a lot of them are a whole lot of targeted ones that people have been grinding recently. We're ready to get these underway. Adam, are you ready to go?
I am ready to go. As actually kind of griefed the stream already by turning off your mic instead of my mic when I was doing the countdown. I'm supposed to turn off both of them. So they hear me say 5-4, and I'm like, oh, damn. But regardless, getting through picks and bans. You know, the lights are on in Space Mountain, as you say. Misfortune, first picked here for 4Cheese Blend, as we get Lulu, Zillion, Zed Band on one side, Camille, Blitzcrank, Katarina. Misfortune, first pick. I think we've seen this before.
Yeah, and I think it's being answered by the better pick, in my opinion. There's Jinx right there. Jinx definitely on the receiving end of nothing but nerfs, or excuse me, nothing but buffs for all of Season 11. And now it's finally come to fruition. I feel a lot of people just kind of fall into the trap of, hey, what's good at Worlds right now? And Misfortune really only needs to press the R button. But you do need a comp kind of built around her in order for her to succeed. You know, she also needs to get ahead as well. Jinx doesn't exactly need that. You can play a more traditional comp with Jinx. So I'm liking the Jinx pickup here. I'm liking the changes, especially after 1121. She received a whole lot of buffs this time around, and this is looking like a pretty good team comp already. I'm liking this Soraka lock-in as well.
Yeah, 1121 made her rockets a little bit less minute intensive, especially for that early game, which is something we have talked about before. You know, you get that extra rocket and you get excited. It's a little bit of a snowball effect in that early game, so just make sure Jinx can stay in lane for longer. And when you add on top of that a Soraka, we've seen the sort of BS healing that Soraka can pull through in the later stages of that game. So really putting the pressure onto 4Cheese Blend here to punish this Jinx Soraka lane. Soraka also matches up very well into Misfortune, but when you throw on top of that a Nautilus, you have to play so careful as the Soraka now.
Yeah, I think you're mostly fine too. I think the other thing that I think really adds on to Jinx here is that at the beginning of Season 11, Jinx was buffed to having the attack speed on Fishbones, the rocket launcher, was reduced from 25% to 10%. So she only receives a 10% decrease to her attack speed when she's launching those rockets. They cost less mana in early ranks in order to shoot. It's just all around very good for Jinx right now, and also locking in the Shen as well, who has been on the receiving end of some nerfs in a very recent patch, especially to Stand United. Means that it's going to be a little bit harder to go against Jinx here, but what I really like is that some adaptations from these Shens have been opting into Redemption, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah, there's a couple of options with Shen builds, as I have played a decent amount of Shen. I like the champion because he's fun and you can play him in multiple different roles, albeit top is the best role. There is sort of the tank Shen, the normal stuff where you go Titanic Hydra early, you pick up your Sunfire, your Frostfire, you're able to just sort of stay in lane. The other one is where you get Frostfire early and start to stack shield buffs, so you really focus on getting that ultimate up as quickly as possible and ulting the Jinx as much as possible. You don't have as much side lane pressure and pushing power in the 1v1s, but when you join in on that fight, you bring so much value to the team. We've even seen some Shens build Locket, but lots of junglers banned out in the second phase of bans here, and with neither team really picking that up, it's sort of obvious why.
Yeah. And I would say that the Zed is also a jungle ban as well. The Renegon, the jungler for Camembert, and also the I Jutsu, one of the great, oh man, what do they call it? I was just looking this up. I literally was just Googling this. Hold on. They have Dojutsu. There we go. Yes, one of the three great Dojutsu from Naruto. Yes, is also playing a whole lot of Zed recently, so that Zed band is targeted at him here. So he's going to have to pick up the Graves, which isn't exactly in his wheelhouse, but, you know, I think should still be relatively fine. It's not that hard to pilot Graves, honestly.
Yeah, and Renegan here is one of the highest members in this lobby right now at Plat 2, so definitely going to try and use that skill advantage to their possession. But we've seen 4Cheese blend in this league for quite a long time as well. Camembert is a little bit of a newer team, although there are some familiar faces nonetheless as Madison Esports. They have like 8 teams. They have one that I'm not really looking forward to casting simply because of their name alone, but Lux gets picked up here, and Lux recently got buffed. She's been getting picked up a lot more in the last little bit, especially in higher levels of play. So really nice to see that come through. Interesting to see a blind pick, though.
Yeah, for sure. The Lux being, I mean, it's just kind of sad, right? I mean, it's. I don't want to say it's sad. It's just kind of like something you just kind of have to deal with, right? Because like, it's the last pick that you have for blue side. That's the reason why folks will opt for red sometimes if they have a very powerful, if they absolutely need that counter pick, right? Because that's being able to go second sometimes in these picks sometimes gives you a better advantage in the lanes. But I'm really liking the Lux lock in. I think you already mentioned that she did get just a bunch of buffs in this most recent patch, and together with like Cloud Drake and Ultimate Hunter, like it's just such a very, very strong character right now, and she's pretty safe too. Lux has a lot of long range, can farm from pretty far away, and has some good, and with that attack speed buff as well, I mean you're actually gonna farm pretty well.
Yeah, I joked around on, I believe it was UPL on Thursday, where they picked up Lux. It was sort of the day after the patch. We're like, oh, why is Lux getting picked up? But because of those buffs coming through, 5 extra damage on the Lucid Singularity, as well as 5% AP means that early game, you're going to be doing a lot of damage, getting that cooldown on the ultimate Final Spark down earlier means that you can just use it to poke out anytime you get the opportunity. And a lot of Luxes, they have that combo QE ult to just right away pop the E in the middle. If you can toss down an auto attack, even better. So really looking forward to seeing how this Lux does. And when you're facing into a Cassiopeia who can't really build movement speed early game, gets that more towards that later stage because she can't build those boots, it means that you're able to punish the likes of a Cassiopeia a lot more. Lux has more range and has more agency to sort of shut down this Cassio. So should be interesting to see how the lane works out, because Cassiopeia does have enough damage to usually cut through the likes of a Lux later, but if Lux can get a couple of kills, she's just able to sit at the very back and use that Final Spark to pick up kills whenever.
Yeah, and I think the big thing here is that Lux is just another piece into the Misfortune puzzle, right? Instead of utilizing maybe a Morgana or maybe just another, maybe a Lissandra even, this is a mid laner that can just lock people or just enable the Misfortune ultimate, right? That's the same thing with Tahm Kench and Nautilus as well. It's going to be able to have multi-man CC that can keep people inside the bullet time to maximize the amount of damage. That Toby's Worlds is going to be able to be doing this game with that Misfortune ultimate. So I'm expecting Noob the Legend to be showing up into this bot lane and really making sure that Toby's Worlds can be getting ahead, because there's really no other lanes that Noob the Legend needs to be showing up in, right? Cassiopeia doesn't absolutely need to be shut down, and Tahm Kench doesn't need to get ahead, and I think actually has a fine matchup into the Shen, right? So really just Noob the Legend showing up into the bot lane and making sure Tobias Whirls is going to be able to get ahead, and also shutting down Lord Griefington on the other side is going to be very, very important.
Yeah, I think that in terms of these junglers, Renegon has to try and get into, or try and go on the opposite side of the Xin Zhao here, because Graves does have a little bit of trouble in levels 1 to 3 in terms of dueling if they don't have all those stacks of True Grit stacked up, and Noob the Legend would be able to win that out. So first Scuttle Crab really important. Shen, Graves, Cassio, though, as a top side, has a lot of agency in terms of skirmishing, especially if you can get the first draw, so to speak. Xin Zhao normally wants to be the one catching people out, and when you have a Tahm Kench Lux to follow up with crowd control, it's whoever gets the jump first. If Graves and Cassio are sitting in a bush and they're able to find a petrifying gaze onto someone, that target's going to be dead because of the damage that Graves can back up and the shield from Shen if things go a little bit sour. So I'm curious to see how Crotad specifically plays this lane into White Lion. Top lane here should be rather neutral. Tahm Kench, the only real downfall of this matchup is the fact that Shen can block up some of those auto attacks to prevent the stacking of acquired taste. But if Tahm Kench can get the jump onto Shen, can be a little bit difficult for the Shen to get away without a well-timed Shadow Dash.
Yeah, and I was about to say that I agree that this top half does look pretty potent here. It's just it's really going to happen post 6, right? Like that's when we're probably going to see a lot of this action on the top half of the map for the red side here for Camembert here. Because I think you put the nail on the head here with the Cassiopeia ultimate. The other thing is that Graves can't duel a whole lot anymore because of the nerfs to quick draws armor stacking. So it's really important that Graves is going to be power farming just a lot more, just staying in the jungle just a little bit longer, and not really looking for any sort of engage against Xin Zhao, because I feel like early game Xin Zhao just might have the edge on Graves because he can very quickly close the gap and then put down a whole bunch of damage, and Graves won't be able to resist a whole lot, right? I think the maximum amount of armor he can get from quick draw at level 1 right now is 16. I want to say, I think it's 4 per stack. I'd have to double check.
I'm checking right now.
Okay.
Just to make sure, because I definitely can build up quite a bit of armor in that early game. I mean, the main reason why they took away magic resist was just because it was when Graves Elise meta was a thing. So looking at quick draw here, bonus armor 4 per stack, get 8 stacks, so you would be able to get up to 32. But especially early game, you can only add up to about 70 armor. And when you have a Lux to worry about, when you have Tahm Kench to worry about, both of them doing magic damage, it's really only the damage from Xin Zhao and Misfortune that you're really cutting down. You just still have to be very careful on Graves. Once you get to that level 6 mark, though, you have so much more agency to go for those aggressive plays. You have sort of the wild card, I like to call it, where you can either get out with your ultimate or you can get a kill with the ultimate. Either way, it's really strong for the Graves to try and look for those plays as much as possible. But I think, especially levels 1 through 5, it's going to be more opportunistic counter ganks as opposed to proactive ganks himself.
Yeah, and really the other thing I wanted to mention about Camembert, which is a type of cheese, by the way. If y'all haven't caught on, like if y'all are in Style Esports and looking at the Madison Esports teams and wondering why they have all these different names, it's because it's all cheese. It's cheese all the way down. They're from Wisconsin. They're cheese heads, and they have to let everyone know that they're cheese heads. Okay,
that's what's
bit
up. Salty, aren't you?
They really have to let everyone know. Come on. The only difference one is Chug Juggers. I'm like, come on, y'all. Like, I mean, regardless, it's a very late game comp. A lot of their lanes are not going to be super far ahead early. So the onus here is on Camembert to play slow early and maybe extend this laning phase for as long as they can in order to get to their power spikes. We're going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the riff for Madison Esports 4 Cheese Ben versus Madison Esports Camembert. Don't go anywhere. It doesn't have any items? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports Season 9. My name is Shinkari, and I'm joined by RareAdam. We're on the Rift for the Madison Esports Showdown 4-cheese blend up against Camembert here. Double cheese. I hope you're not lactose intolerant, because for the next probably hour and a half, we're probably going to see two cheesy teams go up against each other. We have a 5-point... I was going to say we have a 5-point start, but it's not really. We do have some early wards coming out, but none are super aggressive other than this red ward over the wall here. Not exactly super great wards to start, but, you know, wards to see where the enemy jungler are regardless.
Yep. And
we're getting stuff underway.
Cool Open has no items.
Yeah. What's up with that, Cool Open?
It's
what's
not
good?
a bug either. I checked the gold. He has 500 gold.
Yeah, he has 500 gold.
And it hasn't noticed yet, which is... I think...
Yeah, I don't... Is this some tech? Is this some tech I don't know?
If it's some tech, I haven't seen it either, and it's definitely not high elo tech. That's one thing I can say.
Yeah,
sure.
this is the let's hope it's not a spectator bug, because otherwise we'd have to restart.
It is not a spectator bug. I can nigh guarantee that is not a spectator bug, because both of us are getting it, and usually spectator bugs only afflict one of us.
Okay, you know, that's fair. Okay, they have 500 gold. They didn't buy any items. They do have a trinket. So that does mean that it's less of a thing that does tell me that it's not a visual bug. But nope. Regardless, we're in the game.
Yeah, and they're fighting well, all things considered. Look at this. They're winning the trades. Maybe this is tech as top lane. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, White Lion has already taken a decent chunk of damage. Don't let that trade fool you. Crotad is already is healing through a lot of the damage that White Lion has thrown at him. It's not really as much as you'd think. White Lion is really the person who's taken a whole bunch here. Is bot lane, Spaghettius looking for the hook. Can't quite find it though.
Yeah, the one thing about playing sort of tank into Enchantress lanes is that the war of attrition will always go towards that Enchantress. They're usually able to really poke you out more as you need to look for those heavy engages. Of note, though, Beat Froggen didn't take E level 2, which makes them a little bit susceptible to this.
Yeah, that's a really good hook right there, and Griefington is definitely going to feel the pain. And I did want to take a real quick look at masteries from I Beat Froggen here, because I'm a support player. I want to see what people are doing, just so when I go into my games, maybe these folks know better than I do. We're looking at Scorch and Bone Plating for a Soraka, which what's up?
It hurts. It hurts my soul. As we're both support mains, right? So I and it's like, oh, come on, just Gathering Storm, please. It's 1 over, but regardless.
Yeah, how'd you beat Froggen? Did you beat Froggen by playing Soraka, and that's the masteries you use?
I'm pretty sure when Froggen was like playing a lot though, like these weren't a thing. I don't even know if Froggen's really playing. I feel like he still streams. I feel like he's still in NA, but I haven't heard from him in a while. Hope he's doing well.
Yeah.
And if you can, you know.
Yeah. It's looking to be pretty calm in this early game so far. Graves was able to get that top scuttle, which I think is pretty advantageous for him, because he doesn't meet Xin Zhao on this bottom half of the map. But I think I don't think we're gonna see and he's immediately backing here after the first full clear, as we're probably not gonna see a gank from Graves in a while. As Crotad. That's going to be White Lion engaging right here. There's the stacks of the feast right there. Not going to get stunned up this time. Going to grab that shield, which is pretty good, but Lord Griefington is in some trouble. The wind has become lightning. They're dashing forward, flashing to the other side. Going to land the knockup right here. That's going to be Summoner Heal coming across. Can I beat Froggen to keep them alive for a little bit longer? Absolutely not. Misfortune is going to be the one picking up the first blood on a Jinx. This 4.5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, New the Legend with a really good win becomes lightning, just the tip protruding from the wall, and that's really difficult to see. Like, the skill shot isn't the easiest to see to begin with because it's rather skinny, but it's just through the wall, impossible to spot that out, and unfortunately, Lord Griefington got hooked once by Spaghettius, forced to use the flash, second time forced to use the heal and still goes down, and unfortunately, I Beat Froggen not placing that silence field well enough, I think, and that did cost their life. But top side here, they're even on farm, but Tom Kench is having a pretty good time here.
Yeah, Tom Kench is certainly feasting up in this top lane as White Lion can just kind of sit outside of turret range and just slam Crotad with that Q right there in order to just throw out some easy damage that Crotad really can't do a whole lot about. Crotad can dodge a lot of the acquired taste stacks early on, but if it's this Q that has a very short cooldown from White Lion, there's not a whole lot that Crotad can do. So I'm liking this right here, just kind of freezing the wave and positioning himself in such a way that he's on the other side of those ranged minions to make sure that he doesn't take damage from the Qs from White Lion. But it looks like he might look for a fight. There he goes here. That's going to be the smoke screen. Going to slow him up. Going to force the flash. And White Lion's going to walk away.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't use the Abyssal Dive there because he will get taunted up and canceled out, so forced to burn that flash. And Cassio bought items, so we were not tripping out. I was still, like, questioning if maybe it was a spectator bug for the longest time. I kept checking the gold. I was like, are we sure about this? But yes, did pick up the Lost Chapter in the tier now, so ended up not getting punished for it, which I think is really surprising. Noob the Legend didn't bother to go to that mid lane where Spare Trucks would have had a little bit of that advantage, but interesting that nothing ends up becoming of it.
Yeah, it's just a little odd to me that if your first back included the tier, why didn't you just start the tier, right? Because like
sure it's a mental mistake, I think.
Maybe that it just has to be, right? Like that's the only thing that makes sense in my brain. That was just like, uh-oh, I forgot to buy items. It's now way too late for me to go back. Looks like I'm just in lane with no items.
I think it's probably something that they pinged out at like a minute, and they were like, oh, well, I either miss minions or I just pray I don't die. And in the end, it worked out for a cool open. So no open mid here, at least. But as it stands right now, 4 cheese blend showing why they've got 4 cheeses and not just one, because they've got themselves a nice early lead. And it's not really showing in terms of plates or anything else macro, but the farm leads are starting to rack up here. Lux actually up about 2 waves over the Cassiopeia right now, which is, I think, part and parcel due to Sparatrax just being able to farm a little bit easier with that extra spell damage. And on the flip side, actually, on the same side, sorry, Noob the Legend started the Dirk, which means that this could just be Eclipse Xin Zhao.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to proc Eclipse on Xin Zhao. It's just a little interesting to me that they're opting for this instead of maybe a Divine Sunderer. I know that Gore Drinker has been nerfed, so the folks who were just kind of auto-using it, just like, hey, I am a person that likes health regeneration, so therefore Gore Drinker. I think I'd still probably take the Gore Drinker, though.
Yeah, Gore Drinker, despite it getting, I don't want to say nerfed, it got changed, we'll say. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, that's a whole lot of damage. Lord Griefington once again forced to flash away. Oh. And this is one of the cool open. A little bit panicky on the barrier there, but able to live through the Lux ultimate. That's a bunch of summoners used across the lanes here. As yeah, that was a real good time for Toby's Whirls to use that ultimate right there in the bot lane.
Yeah, it was interesting to see all of that go down, but 4 cheese blend definitely showing that they've got the power in this early game to really let it stick, and we see that in the mid lane. Sparatrax burning both summoners off of Cassio, and meaning that she can expand her gold lead even further, picking up a plate, cleaning up some more farm as well. And on the bot side, Lord Griefington just isn't allowed to have flash for longer than 30 seconds, I think, because every time a hook comes through from Spaghettius and it lands, it means that Misfortune is dealing more than half HP to that Jinx. And I Beat Froggen has healing, but it's not all at the same time.
Yeah, and this is looking really tough for Lord Griefington at this point, right? They're staying afloat. They're definitely CSing very well, and that's going to keep them alive in this game, but they really have to be careful because, okay, wait a minute. Top lane, Renee Gun. Oh. Looking for Noob the Legend right here. They're taking incredibly low. The wind has become lightning. That's going to be the final spark coming across. A Crotad looking for a re-engage. Can't quite find it. They're going to dash on top of the graves and find the kill. Noob Legend's now looking for the rest, but that's going to be a really good ultimate from Cassiopeia. Look at the burst damage coming down. Sparatrax is in a whole lot of trouble. Cool Open might look to go over the wall, but it looks like White Lion is the person that's looking for a little bit more of a fight, but Cool Open not going to entertain the catfish this time. Just going to pick up that 1-for-1 up in the top side of the map and get out of there.
And Noob the Legend just barely goes down there, gets hit by the side of the Petrifying
It's
Gaze.
a 2-for-1 rather.
So not going to actually get stunned up, but had Flash up in like 3 seconds before he died. Has it up now. A really good Crescent Guard to be able to protect against the taunt, but able to get one there building towards that Eclipse. Both junglers actually building towards Eclipse. So maybe it's just that Noob the Legend was like throwing down the gauntlet saying, we're both going Electrocute. Or no, both going Eclipse actually, as Renegon went Electrocute. I just noticed that, and that's interesting to see on Graves.
Yeah, I mean, you can very quickly get off 3 spells and abilities, so I think picking up the Eclipse here could be very good. I mean, once again, both of these junglers, I mean, even like the Eclipse is going to be made even easier by the fact that Noob the Legend is running Hail of Blades. So there's a whole lot of burst damage, and this just kind of makes your burst damage early on very, very strong. It's just that my problem is, like, as you get later into the game, that item is probably just going to be useless, right? Like, you're not going to be doing a whole lot. And I guess it's better because the enemy team isn't going to be building a whole lot of armor, but I don't know. It's just so weird. I just think the Gore Drinker with the Omnivamp is still fine on Xin Zhao.
Yeah, and I think that it really depends on the user. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a Deadlord Griefington right there. That's easy peasy. That's the full CC combo on a Jinx. Like, you're out of there. And the sad part is there's not like a whole lot you can do about it either. Like, even if Lord Griefington had brought like cleanse, like, it's still like you can't really do anything about that. Like, it's just all ogre now. Because there's like next to nothing to cleanse off, right? Like, I feel like the snare from Nautilus is just like a formality. Like, at that point, because the depth charge is coming up afterwards, and that's another airborne ability.
Yeah, it's a lot coming down from the side of 4 Cheese Blend, and it ends up just being really difficult for the Jinx to do anything. She's always got to be careful in this lane, and that's why I thought that Nautilus was a good pick to begin with. You saw that Blitzcrank band away, but Spaghetti is saying, I will play another hard engage support here, and thus far, it's as if every single hook that lands ends up leading to either a summoner spell blown or a kill. So really good play of this lane thus far, and they've been able to take advantage of Lord Griefington more than anything. While Froggen has not been on the score sheet yet, it's like you can either kill the Soraka first and maybe kill the Jinx, or you just kill the Jinx and Soraka doesn't get any farm. So which one would you prefer? I think you'd prefer to put that Jinx a little farther behind, because despite all of this, Toby Swirls is only barely up in farm against this Jinx. So Griefington has been able to keep those waves in a decent spot and be able to farm quite well.
Yeah, and I think the big thing here is that heals are traditionally not good against burst damage. So usually if you want to stuff burst damage, you either want to use stasis or shields. Shields are better against burst damage because they're only temporary, whereas healing is better once the damage is already done, or against consistent damage because you can just heal and tank through it. Ooh, Final Spark. That's not going to be able to land this time, but Noob the Legend still wants more. They're going to use the dashing right on top of Lord Griefington here. Going to pop that ultimate as well, but he can't deal damage to his Xin Zhao if you're not inside the circle. Renegon is in some trouble here. He's going to get the Stand United and a Wish as well. He's still alive. He's trying to dash away as best he can, but High Beat Frog is not going to be able to do so. He flashes over the wall. They're still looking for more. Noob the Legend is taken incredibly low, but Cassiopeia is going to be snared up. They're trying to find Toby's Worlds, but they're just running away. They can't find this last bit of damage. Is Super Mega Death Rocket available? No, they're all so incredibly low. Cassiopeia is still looking for more, though. Going over the wall here. Can they find this damage?
Flash.
Shen is here as well. Oh, no. They all back away with so low HP bars. Final Spark. Okay.
Yeah,
I think be able to find the kill this time.
I think if anything, you aim for the minions there, and you try and clear out that wave as quickly as possible. But no, White Line didn't TP that entire time. He had teleport up. He had great minions to teleport to try and find that re-engage. But I think they just called, hey, I can push in this tower. I can get myself back into this game and potentially save a little bit more than we need. We don't need to use this teleport. And really good audible, I think, in the comms there to be able to back off of that play. Lord Griefington using that Super Mega Death Rocket very early onto Noob the Legend into the Crescent Guard. He couldn't take him down, and despite Renegon living for so long, still goes down despite all the healing, despite all the shields, despite all of these summoners being burnt on the grave, still goes down, and somehow, some way, despite losing the dragon, 4 Cheese Blend end up on top of that play from getting a bunch of kills on the back, or getting 1 kill on the back end of that, and being able to stay alive and not giving any over.
Yeah, and you really have to think about what White Lion is trading for by not teleporting there. I think it's perfectly fine that White Lion stayed in the top lane, right? Because they end up winning that trade. And look at this, White Lion is just destroying this turret in the top lane. That is the most powerful tongue in League of Legends because he's just slamming away at a building right now with that thing.
Yeah, I think it's part of why the Tahm Kench stayed there. Gonna gobble up Shen though, might win this.
Yeah, that's a
maybe
decent
not.
chunk of damage already, but Crotad does have a mythic. I don't think
here.
White Lion is backed yet, but here comes Noob the Legend in from the side. They're looking for the re-engage, but the knockup is good. That's why you take Hail of Blades on Xin Zhao. Really, really good pickup. Gonna be able to save White Lion as well. Remember, League of Legends is a team game.
Yeah, Noob the Legend able to come through, and in the end, right now, the Eclipse still brings a lot to the table because it gives you that percent armor penetration, it gives you that percent health damage of note, so still quite good because there's not a whole lot of armor built up on this Shen quite yet. Only has that Frostfire Gauntlet as well as the plated steel caps, but now on the bot side, Sparetrax is going to be tasked with sitting in this bot lane and continuing to farm. I want to point out how well they've been farming. They're almost at 10 CS a minute, and these teams are in the platinum, high gold, low platinum range, which, you know, you generally start to get into better farming there, but I'm still really impressed to see it come through, especially on a Lux where you are really reliant on your abilities and you can't really spam them out early, but obviously been doing something right here.
I mean, Lux, I think I mentioned this in Champs Select, but ooh, wait a minute. Look for White Lion here. He's taken pretty low. That okay, he's gonna pop that shield just a little early here. He's going to have to wait for that to be on cooldown to start building up gray health again, but he's going to use that as in order to get away. That's going to be the Abyssal Voyage into the other bush here.
Crotad?
White Lion's okay. He's out of there.
Yeah, you know, if you can bring your jungler up, so can I, says Crotad, but unfortunately doesn't take into account the flash and the Abyssal dive out of there. So, Sparetrax, though, yeah, as you were saying, with the attack speed buff makes it a little bit easier to farm. And also, my goodness, look at this damage coming through from this Lux.
Yeah, it turns out that Lux actually did 0 damage. I think you need to take a look back at that because Lux actually did 0 damage because Soraka is there.
Damage, yeah. Soraka's a great champion.
Yeah, it's very funny. It was Noob the Legend coming. Oh, okay. That's gonna be the Wish coming out as well. It's a good snare with the chompers, but that's gonna be the challenging smite as well. This is the Stand United. They're really looking to try to turn this around. Here comes Crotad. Gonna use that Crescent Guard in order to get away. That's a great binding as well. Lord Griefington once again just eating all of this damage, but I Beat Froggen is right there. Soraka's right there, everyone. Soraka is a whole lot of healing. That's going to be Crotad snared up for an eternity. 4v1 down in that there. They're going to have to get out of there.
Yeah, Soraka was not there for the Shen, unfortunately. So Brazil v Germany going to come through. And unfortunately for the side of unfortunately for the Soraka here, she's trying her best to keep everyone alive, but using so much health to keep Griefington alive means that it's harder to try and move up to save Crotad there, potentially stay over the wall, get some heals down. So that's the main thing with Soraka. You can give all these massive heals, but if there's so much burst on the enemy team with the likes of a Lux, a Lethality Xin Zhao, a Misfortune, even the Nautilus can provide a decent amount of burst alongside that crowd control. It's so difficult to heal through it, and they're going to pick up their second dragon of the game here. Fortune's Blender just taking control thus far. They have a 4,000 gold lead at the 18.5 or 19-minute mark, we'll say.
Yeah, and this is why you run. A lot of folks will run Warmogs even on Soraka. They'll go into Moonstone Renewer first, or whatever Bamble Glass Mirror item will also build out of a Kindle Gem. They'll go Redemption, and then they'll go Warmogs. Because that way you can stay with people in lane and heal them up. And then after a team fight, if you're still alive and you win, then you're able to heal people up even more because you can leave combat, start getting that out of combat healing, and really be able to start throwing around spells again. So it makes you end up being really good for these very short engages even as well. But once again, this is not the point in time where I'm looking for Cam and Burt to be ahead, right? They still have some scaling to do. Jinx is only on one item. Cassiopeia hasn't fully stacked her tier yet. Graves is still on one item as well. Like Forchi's Blend is still ahead, but the longer this game goes on, the better Camembert becomes. They're running a marksman, they're running an enchanter, and they basically have double enchanter here with how much shield Stand United is.
Yeah, or will be able to do if we see that build come through. And the Ruby Crystal, very ambiguous right now, so no way to tell if that's maybe going towards a redemption or something else. But of note here, Lux sitting on 2 items. She's going to finish her fully stacked Seraph's Embrace, or Archangel Staff to get that Seraph's Embrace in exactly 1 spell cast. Yep, there it is. And Cassio actually opting to go for the Rylai second item as opposed to Demonic Embrace or the tier upgrade. So maybe looking for a little bit of an earlier spike, and now on this Cassio is now the one who's leading in farm, so that's a little bit more expected. Cassiopeia very good at sitting in those side lanes and farming those minions, and she's just biding her time here. Level 13, hoping to get to level 16, maybe around when Baron becomes a potential threat, or Soul, and I think that's what they're playing for. They're not going to play for this next dragon. They're going to give up Soul Point, and they look for that fight around the Soul Dragon.
Yeah, because that will be let's see, the next dragon is spawning at about 23, so that leaves the soul up to about 29. But oh no, Griefington.
Yeah, Griefington's dead.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of burst damage. A cool open looking to turn this around. That's a whole lot of burst damage already. That's the Crescent Guard coming across, but the rest of the turn is looking to re-engage. It's going to really great taunt, keep them inside, but this is a double teleport coming in from the blue side here. That's Lux already landing a great snare. White Lion is here to follow up as well. Crotad taking incredibly low. It's a good silence field to maybe get them away. White Lion is going to engage forward. Renegon's looking to use that ultimate to maybe give them some space. They're trying to turn this around as best they can. Cool open is going to slow them down just a little bit more. Maybe look for a re-engage here. Does not have the Conqueror proc just yet, so doesn't have some healing. White Lion is going to pop that thick skin shield and survive for just a little bit longer. At the end of the day, it's a 1-for-1.
Yeah, just the 1-for-1, but you can see the power of Cool Open. They're able to get a 2-man Petrifying Gaze and does a whole bunch of damage. This is the sort of fights that Cassio wants to look for. She needs to bide her time. Both teleports are burnt, but Crotad re-engaging.
Yeah, White Lion is going to be in some trouble. Renegon is right here, and that's already a decent chunk of damage, but Toby's Whirl and Sparatrax are here to try to turn this around as well. Noob the Legend looking to fight Renegon here, but has to dash over the wall. It's going to be Graves going down, but the Jinx is going to be able to pick up that kill with the Super Mega Death Arc. They're looking for the rest, but Sparatrax taking incredibly low, but once again, oh no. Tunnel Vision for the Lux here is going to immediately get punished by the blue team here as Graves is in some trouble. Might be able to get out of there.
Oh, Noob the Legend is going to cut him off.
Oh, no. Okay, Renegon is okay. Goodbye. Goodbye forever. It was nice knowing you, Graves.
Yeah, and at the end of that, despite the early 1-for-1, everyone just re-engages, and it ends up being a 4-for-1. Or 5-for-2 overall in terms of the kills. And all of a sudden, the side of Forchi's Blend have just picked themselves up another 1,000 gold in the lead. Of note, though, you can see that Cassio now sitting on 2.5 items. Jinx has 2 items now, so if Lord Griefington can stay far back enough that they aren't caught out by Spaghettius, then they can start to dish out a lot of damage. But it is very conditional. Very conditional on them not dying.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, right? Like, the big thing right now is that we've seen Lord Griefington just in that last fight alone, and then after respawning and rejoining the fight again, their positioning has been incredibly greedy, and including tunnel visioning for that first Sparatrax as well, flashing forward into the team. Like, if you want to be surviving these team fights, you need to play more conservatively. And I feel like this is a pitfall of a lot of low-level players to just be like, hey, how come you're not attacking the squishy target? How come you're attacking the tank? It's because when you are a short-range AD carry like Jinx, sometimes you can only attack the target that is closest to you. And sometimes that's Nautilus or Tom Kench. And you just have to be okay with that, right? You just got to be like, okay, fine, I will attack Tom Kench. I'm not happy about it, but I'm not about to try to walk past him and Nautilus in order to attack the Lux or the Misfortune.
Yeah, and that's why I like the option for the Kraken Slayer here, able to get a lot of attack speed down when that's fully stacked up against those frontline targets, and the Kraken Slayer as well. Next thing I want to see, not the Infinity Edge, but the Lord Dominix, just so that they can cut through, because Jinx, one of the lowest base HPs in the game, not going to build any bonus HP, going to be great even against the likes of this Misfortune, who has a little bit more base HP. So want to see that come through. Lux will end up with a little bit if she builds that Morellonomicon eventually, or if she builds a Cosmic Drive. So every target will be taken advantage of by this. I just realized something as well. I'll get back to that. By this, this Lord Dominic's regards. But the thing I noticed. Okay,
yeah.
never mind. I was looking at the shields. I thought that Eclipse gave you a lifeline shield, but it wasn't. I'm brain dead right now. Sorry. Yes. I was concerned, but there's a lot of shields on that Zinzhao.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of burst damage coming down onto Renegon here, and they have to use the Stand United in order to live. And yeah, that's a pretty big ultimate now used by Crotad here. Is, you know, I think they have to start contesting these Drakes. I think you were right. We're gonna see the next dragon happen around 29 minutes. And this is definitely when we're going to have to start seeing them start contesting, because Sparatrax with any more Cloud Drakes is going to be ulting every 2 seconds. I'm certain. I want to take a look. Oh, wait a minute. After Cool Open, that's going to be... Oh, yeah. Trying to turn around, but it's a 4v1. Can't win at the end of the day. Final Spark, 27 seconds on the ultimate, and I believe it's about to get his last point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Level 15, not full build. 2.5 items. Of note... Yep. Horizon Focus does not give you ability haste, neither does Morellonomicon, so at the very least one more ability haste item, but Sparatrax though getting taunted up.
Yeah, that's gonna be finding a good pick here. It's gonna force them out of the fight, but Sparatrax wants to be far away anyway. Renegon's gonna get a whole bunch of damage onto Toby's Worlds right here. That's gonna be the next person to fall. Crotad is now in some trouble, gonna be gobbled up and spat back out. Noob the Legend is diving on top of Lord Griefington. He's actually going to fall here. A huge shutdown onto the Jinx is actually really big, but that's gonna be a 2 for 3 at the end of the day. Sparatrax looking for that last kill, but not gonna be able to find it this time.
Yeah, actually, I believe... No, did not force the... I think Froggen flashed earlier. I thought they flashed there, but when you don't have the Wish, you don't have that Stand United in that fight, it means it's going to be a little bit tougher, but they're able to cut through the Zinzhao. They're able to find the kill on to the Misfortune as well, so that's 2 shutdowns they pick up. Jinx is able to get one of them, so gonna stay relevant here. They're still pretty far behind here, still 6,500 gold down, but... They're keeping it within striking distance, which I like to see out of Camembert. They're not just rolling over and giving this 1-4 cheese blend. And looks like our cheese civil war will continue. Maybe just 4 cheese blend are going too complex with how many cheeses they've got. Camembert just keeping it nice and simple, sticking to one type of cheese. Although if 4 cheese blend have Camembert in their cheese blend, according to them, then we might have some more trouble. But I digress.
Yeah, I mean, all you need is pecorino, mozzarella, and provolone. I mean, that's all you need. You don't need any more than that. I mean, that's a perfectly beautiful 3 cheese blend right there, paisano. You put that on top of some nice dough with some sauce. Oh my God, you don't need more than 4 cheese. What do you need a 4 cheese for? Yeah. Renegon's looking for the kill on the white line, but he's too slippery, this catfish, so he's gonna be getting away.
Sometimes I wonder. Like, okay, this is completely off topic, but sort of on topic because we're talking about cheese. Like,
okay, what's up?
My sister had a friend who got visibly offended by, like, the "hey, I'm walking here" sort of accent. And it was really confusing because they're like, "Oh, you're being Italophobic." And then the person who was saying it was...
Okay, I don't... Let's pause this conversation and maybe pick it up when... I'm good. I mean, you can keep talking, I guess. I mean, I'm removing myself from this conversation.
Yeah. My point is, I wonder if it's, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna die. We're gonna move away from this conversation.
Yeah?
I'm losing my point, anyways. Regardless. Dragon's up in 10 seconds. Cheese is more than just for one culture. It is global. There we go.
Yeah, cheese is delicious. Yeah, but now we have them walking into a bush. That's gonna be a whole lot of damage immediately right off the bat. But you know, the ultimate from Misfortune is down. They could be able to turn this around. Oh my God!
Oh, cool open though.
Okay, they are able to find one. Cool Open is doing some damage here. Crotad is going to be able to survive for just a little bit longer here. But Noob the Legend and Toby's Worlds is pretty good. Sparatrax just killed Jinx through the Stand United shield. And the Stand United, and at full health, mind you. Almost a full health Jinx with the Stand United shield. And White Lion wasn't in the fight. That was a 4v5.
Lux is pretty strong.
Yeah. Turns out.
Yeah, I mean, that was the one thing that wasn't used there was I beat Froggen's Wish because the Soraka was the first one to die there.
Yes.
They did pull off their own cheese. That's, I guess, what the 4-cheese blend is talking about. It's they send 4 members into the bush and they, I don't know, they do like the Sailor Moon thing, or they build Exodia like cheddar, mozzarella, provolone, parmesan, and they start to just link up and go for the. Maybe that's what the 4-cheese blend is talking about.
Yeah, but it's funny because I was like, why did you mention Sailor Moon and then reference Yu-Gi-Oh? I don't. But then it was just like, it's me. I'm Sailor Provolone. And I am Sailor Pecorino.
And I am Sailor Cashew and aged blue-green algae.
Oh my god. Oh my god. The Cheese Scouts.
They picked
the Cheese Scouts, the lesser known magical girls of the anime universe.
Yes.
Not a lot of people know. Five regular teenage girls from Wisconsin.
Cheddar, mozzarella.
They're getting Baron. That's going to be the depth charge coming out onto RareAdam here. He might be able to turn something around. The Stand United is there as well. White Line is going to be blast coning themselves over the wall here. Man. Yeah, I mean, it's I would have loved to talk about more of what was going on, but it was a really good move by Madison 4-cheese blend there to get that sneaky Baron, and there wasn't a whole lot that Common Baron was doing about it. So, you know, what's there to really play-by-play, really, than to talk about our new anime?
Exactly.
Sailor Cheese.
Well, I mean, the moon is made of cheese, so...
The moon is made of cheese! Let's go!
Big brain, that's how we do it, but...
Oh, no, okay, yeah. Lord of Grieving is in some trouble here as Cole Opens trying to turn this around on the backside here. Toby's World is actually taking it pretty low here. That's going to be the Conquerors. Conquerors coming alive, but it's not going to be able to heal them up for that much longer to keep them going down. They're going to be chewing up, spitting out Graves. That's going to be the bullet time coming across as well to finish off the kill. RareAdam is taken down, and now the rest of the blue team is looking for more. And they're looking... Okay, that's the depth charge coming across. Whole bunch of CC. There's going to be Shen surviving for a little bit longer. Thanks to Anathema's changed onto the Lux here, but that's a whole lot of damage, and you know, you can survive for all you want. They're trying to kill him inside the summoner's platform, but they're not able to do it because Soraka's right there and they're getting healing. Well, that's getting the Nexus being taken down in game 1's going over to Madison Esports 4-cheese blend.
Yeah, honestly, just a nice fun game in between the two of them here. Civil war going down between the cheeses, but in the end, it is a 4-cheese blend who just have a little bit more diversity, and they pull it out of the bag. But honestly, that Lux, absolutely nutty. Consider banning it. It was really strong. Yeah,
Lux is pretty good. And like, the thing about the Lux is that Sparatrax basically did nothing in lane, right? Yes. And I don't want to say nothing, right? Because that's not entirely correct, and it's a little dismissive. But the big thing here is like Sparatrax and Cool Open like kind of rarely fought each other in lane and went for 1v1s with kills at the end of it, right? And that was kind of the big reason why I think Lux should be banned in this next game here. You know, Lux didn't have any sort of like super explosive wins that snowballed them forward. Excuse me as I have the hiccups. Sparatrax really just farmed. Like, that was it. Like, they were just farming the whole time. And look at the power spike and difference from Sparatrax in comparison to Cool Open, right? I mean, granted, Sparatrax has 8 kills to Cool Open's 3, right? But it's still like, look at coming out of just farming and lane phase, how much more Sparatrax was able to get out of just farming versus just Cool Open.
Yeah, I think in the end, Sparatrax just able to take advantage of the win conditions we were talking about, getting a little bit of that lane lead, being able to move down into that side lane and just continue that farming, and really just punished I feel like Camembert wanted to play it a little bit slower. They wanted to sort of pick up slower fights, but this Lux was just accelerated so quickly to the point where it was incredibly difficult for them to keep up. But we'll have to see if Camembert can figure something out different for Game 2 to potentially combat this 4Cheese blend comp.
Yeah, we're going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be in picks and bans of game number 2 of Madison Esports 4Cheese blend up against Madison Esports Camembert. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports Season 9. My name is Shinkari, and I'm joined by RareAdam, and we are into game picks and bans of game number 2 of Madison Esports 4Cheese Blends versus Madison Esports Camembert right here. And then we are into picks and bans pretty deeply right now as Lux is immediately banned away.
Yep. Am I surprised? Nope. We called for it. Spare tracks. I'm very sorry if I sniped your pick, but Lux is very strong. Everyone's like, oh, those buffs very small, you know, might push her back into the meta. No, she's so strong. There's been a lot of pro players talking about how strong she is right now. A lot of high elo players as well. Been picked up in amateur, been picked up, would be picked up in pro if, you know, they played on current patches, but Camille going to get picked up for Crotad here, giving him a little bit more agency on that top side. I like to see a little bit of change of pace because last game they put all of the eggs into the Griefington basket, and unfortunately, Spare Track said, no you, and just kept ulting him and killing him.
Yeah, and it looks like 4Cheese Blend is just looking to run it back again because a lot of the champions that made that comp successful are still on the table. Nautilus is still on the table, Shinzao is still on the table, Tom Kench is still on the table. Really, only Lux is the only champion that's not available for them to pick here from that previous comp. And we might see a little bit more focusing on that in the second half of bans. But like in this first half here, I'm definitely predicting that we're probably going to see a lot of the same comp again.
Yeah, honestly, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, in my opinion. Camille does make it a little bit more difficult for Misfortune to just be able to sit at the back and pop that ultimate. But White Lion says, my Tom Kench is fine. And picking it up again into the Camille. Tom Kench is able to survive that lane, but it is significantly more difficult than just facing a Shen because Camille does a lot of damage.
Yeah, Camille does a lot of damage, and she's also able to take these trades pretty positively as well. Once she initiates a fight, getting that adaptive shield is going to be pretty good against the Tahm Kench here. It's a little awkward because, you know, he's going to be auto attacking a lot, and she's probably going to end up getting a magic damage shield, but a lot of his bonus damage is magic. So being able to get that shield, go into those trades, and be able to come out on top in a lot of cases could be pretty good. Once again, shields are very good for before damage happens, and healing is good for after the damage is already done. So Camille being the one to initiate these trades is going to have her come out on top over Tahm Kench.
Yes, and I think that, oh my goodness, Beat Froggen picked up Brand instead of Soraka this time.
Yeah.
That is a different look, and I don't mind it in a lot of ways. Gives you a lot more damage potential in that bot side, but also makes Jinx and Brand, in that sense, a lot more susceptible to just getting run down like they did last game. And Misfortune Nautilus, Toby, Swirls, and Spaghetti say, we will run it back on you. You didn't pick a counter to this. You didn't pick the Morgana. You didn't change your AD carry. You didn't try and change that up. So we're going to pick the exact same comp and hopefully do the exact same thing that we did last game.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And I think the big thing, I think the only thing I want to say about the Brand pick here is that it might be going mid. It is a little bit more flexible. I would like to see it mid because I think Brand into Nautilus, it might not be the most fun if you can't like really, really punish the Nautilus at every single turn, right? I'm not a huge fan of Brand support, but you know, if it works, it works. You know, that's how I mostly feel about Brand support.
To be fair, if we are going with the theme of cheese, Brand jungle is also a thing, and it has a very good clear. I would be interested if they did that as sort of a flex, but maybe I'm already spoiling their draft plan. I'm like, now we can't do it. RareAdam spoiled it. Now we're playing it support. But regardless, Brand, it does give a little bit more flexibility than the Soraka. I don't think you play Brand jungle into Zhao, though. They picked everything pretty much the same, except they have to get a different mid laner, and they get to counterpick in that mid as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is already, I mean, Forchi's blend, I mean, they're running back basically the same comp here. I actually like this, though. I like this Trundle adaptation because it does give a little bit more room for your Jinx to just kind of sit back and kind of do whatever auto attacks, and there's a bunch of good targets to steal from. And this Galio hover, I actually love this idea for a support instead, because just being able to be more reactive as the Galio could be a lot better. And it like Galio, I think, falls into, in terms of support, falls into the same category as Nautilus for me, where you have this kind of like, you play both sides of proactive versus reactive, and you can do that with Galio, right? Galio has a very good reactive and proactive game in the bot lane, especially in these early levels.
Yes, and that is if the Galio does go support. I would like to see that go there. But Vex is going to get picked up for that mid lane, and Vex is another champion that I think a lot of people are starting to realize is quite strong. She's got a lot of... She has that anti-mobility part to her, but she also has that sort of assassination potential to be able to jump in with her ultimate and use that personal space to drop the fear right on top of them as she goes in. So lots of potential coming through from Spare Tracks to be able to carry this game again. If it is the Brand in the mid lane, it makes it a little bit more difficult for Vex. But if it is Galio, I think Vex is going to have a field day and should be feeling perfectly fine against that matchup. So really curious to see how Camembert use these different picks to sort of adjust their game plan, because it's very obvious from what Forchi's Blend are doing that they know exactly their game plan and they will go with it because this is for the same comps. This is, you know, Sailor, Cheddar, Parmesan, Provolone, and what was the other one? Mozzarella, yes. And instead of cashew and aged blue-green algae, they're going with, what is it? What was the other one? It was like flat.
I mean, it could just be Sailor Brie. I don't know.
No. They had another like really weird name. What was it? It was
Sailor Goat. I don't know.
I'm finding it. Sailor Flashback Goat Discs Cheese. That's what they've got.
Shout outs to Madison Esports, honestly.
These are great. Like, I have not had this much fun with team names in a long time.
Yeah.
We found a picture of Dr. Cow's aged cashew and blue-green algae. Apparently, it's an alternative cheese, and that's definitely factual information.
You know, honestly, like I just Madison Esports just really just lets me learn just a whole lot about cheese, honestly, on just a daily basis. I think they only have one just non-cheese name, and it's the Chug Juggers.
Are Chug Juggers in this season, though? That's the real question.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing.
Let's find out.
Excuse me. They also have the Drunken Hooligans cheese.
That is a cheese. I looked it up.
That's a cheese?
Yes, Drunken Hooligans.
What?
This is what I mean. I feel like they look up like normal. There's some decent cheese names. You know, you got Camembert. It's a little bit off meta, but I like it. You know, it's not your mozzarella. You've got 4 cheese blend, which is somewhat ambiguous, but, you know, leaves it up to the mind. Cottage cheese, you know, Munster, then you're starting to get off the rails a little bit. Even Feta's a little more meta, but Gorgonzola, there you go into the blue cheeses, and then you've got, you know, Drunken Hooligans and that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
I need to see if Chug Juggers are a team. I'm looking this if they are one this season.
Yeah, it's always funny to see you be like, oh man, like we're talking about all the Madison Esports teams, and then it's funny to see you into like pan over to Discord and see RareAdam is typing like.
I do not know if they are a team this season, but they are. I'm curious. I don't know. Madison Esports fans, tell me if Chug Juggers are still a team.
Yeah. Regardless, I did want to talk about Camembert's team just a little bit more because 4 cheese blend, it's the exact same comp again. This is the only difference is now they have Vex. On the other side, okay, so we do have confirmation that this is a Galio mid and it is a brand support. So this is a whole lot more aggression into the bot lane here. I Beat Froggen is going to the complete other end of the spectrum when it comes to supports. They went from one end where they were an enchanter, and now they are a burst mage on the other side. So there's a whole lot of onus on I Beat Froggen to be landing these untargeted stuns to really force out Nautilus as much as humanly possible. The problem is you really have to kind of turn on a dime to really land these stuns onto Nautilus to make sure that they're not snaring Lord Griefington here. And once again, like it's just, I don't know. I don't like playing an immobile, rather squishy champion into a Nautilus, and I don't think it really helps out the Jinx too much.
It's gonna be interesting because I Beat Froggen, if they can get that damage down and be a real nuisance in some of these team fights, being able to spread a lot of that damage over time, it can do quite well because, you know, it's sort of the counter to some of these beefier frontline champions like Tahm Kench is percent health damage. Of course, Brand able to provide that, ends up buying Leandries, ends up buying Demonic Embrace, and they just have so much damage over time. The burn as well just really annoys people, and that's the biggest thing. Like, that's why when I play bot lane, I'm like, do I really want to play against the Xerath support today? Do I really want to play against a Brand support? No, I don't. And then I pick Soraka anyways. But regardless, in this case, you have the Nautilus to potentially punish the Brand pick. Brand has to make sure that they're staying behind those minions, looking for those opportunistic sort of poke opportunities in lane and wait for Renegon to come down to look for those ganks, as opposed to trying to get the 2v2 kills. Because if you try and take a 2v2 against the Misfortune Nautilus, Brand will just get burst out, or your ADC will get burst out, and Lord Griefington will be somewhat displeased, as that's exactly what happened last game. They just got taken down multiple times.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once again, we're going to have to look into this bot lane. I do think Jinx is a very strong pick right now. The problem is that she's man, I want to say that she's more high econ than Misfortune is, and requires just a little bit more attention from the jungler, which, you know, made the Graves pick to me in the previous game just a little awkward, right? I feel like that team, once it got to the late game, like they were going to really just run away with the game because they just scaled so much better, right? But now with this Trundle, their ganks earlier are going to be a little bit better, and being able to steal tanky stats from Xin Zhao, Tahm Kench, and Nautilus is going to be pretty important to do for this Trundle. Once again, I'm just really, if you're looking to pick the Jinx here, you really have to build a comp around it. And, you know, maybe they have done it, right? The Galio heroic entrance can protect the Jinx if she needs to, and also follow up on an engage from Camille or Trundle. I think, you know, just maybe not having Brand as your support will probably be a little bit more advantageous, but who knows? Maybe I'll be putting my foot in my mouth this game, as we're going to take just a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be on the Rift of Madison Esports 4G's blend up against Madison Esports. Cam and Bert, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Summoner's Rift.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports Season 9. My name is Shinkari, and I'm joined by RareAdam, and we are on the Rift of Game 2 of the Madison Esports Showdown. 4G's Blend up against Cam and Burt in the Rift right now as we have a 5-man engage in the bot lane right here. Jason's going to be in some trouble, forced to flash away, and if you are Cam and Burt right now, that is very, very bad.
If anything, that's a signal for them to walk into the enemy jungle and get some wards down. That's something that's how you take advantage of 5-man invades. Good flash coming out from Griefington to be able to get out of there, but unfortunately Crotad and Cool Open just kind of sitting on that top side. Probably should have walked up, tried to get a ward on that red buff just to get a little bit more information.
Yeah, I feel like that is the response here, but we didn't see that come out. I would have loved the KFC ward, which is the ward right around the in between the little corner bit of I was about to say wraiths, raptors, and that middle part of the red buff wall right there. So not really able to get that vision out, which is pretty important here, but you know, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. I think the real end of the world here is that Lord Griefington still doesn't have flash.
Yep, Spaghetti is going back to the old classic 1 Q, 1 flash, and then next Q is a kill. So if that sort of combo stays true, unless it's a hook onto Beat Froggen who decides to flash away, then Lord Griefington may be having a little bit of a rough time here. But with this brand, I'm curious to see if they can try and punish Spaghettius a little bit more, and by the looks of it, starting to get a little bit more damage down already at level 1, which is what you want to see out of brands. You can take advantage of these engage supports level 1 when they don't really want to engage because they don't have all of the crowd control or tankiness to follow up on it.
Yeah, I mean, really all Spaghettius needs is that hook right there, as they're going to throw out the choppers here just very aggressively, trying to find that last bit of damage. But Crotad getting a physical shield up into the top lane, which is a little interesting to me.
Yeah, I guess they think Tom Kent does more with auto attacks. I've always wondered, like, on some champions, that adaptive shield is just really random, but hook?
Yeah, that's going to be a whole bunch of damage here. They're going to pick up a Dark Harvest App, which is pretty big here. Toby Swirl's taking a whole bunch of damage here. This is the good thing about brand support, is that you can just bypass a lot of the body blocking that Spaghettius is going to be looking for here. There's a lot of abilities that are fairly long range, like the Pillar of Flame is very, very good at getting around whatever body blocking Spaghettius is going to be doing to protect Tobias Whirls, and yeah, and it's very good for punishing some missed positioning as well.
Yes, and the main thing is that once Spaghettius finishes that engage, he walks away. That's the thing about these tank supports, is that if you can't pick up that kill, you just walk away. Otherwise, you end up taking more damage. But when you have a poke support like Brand coming through, when they're walking away, you know exactly where they're going. You can drop down a combo, and we almost saw that onto Toby Swirls on that first engage. If that is his Q, there's so many like fire things, incinerate, something like that. If it landed, it would have killed Toby Swirls.
Yeah, that's going to be the wind becoming lightning in the bot lane, but they're too close to the tower for Xin Zhao to want to follow up on. Cool Open, doing my favorite thing to do on Galio, which is just clearing the minions with the Justice Punch. Feels real good. Going to be able to pick up up some gold for themselves. I mean, this is going to be more of the same in the bot lane here, but Spaghettius, ooh, that was really close to being very bad for Spaghettius.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very close to hooking onto the wall here. Is White Lion going to be the one starting the fight here? The adaptive shield is on cooldown, so it's not going to be able to shield them up for just a little bit longer. That's going to be the thick skin shield coming across as well, as they're going to use the flash to re-engage here. So Crotad is going to have to grapple onto the wall and back away. Yeah, so it looks like this is going to be in the bot lane here. Renekton is looking for an engage. That's a real good troll pillar, but the zap coming out across just a little too soon. They're looking for the last bit of damage. Going to land the stun. Going to flash over the wall. Looking for a little bit more damage. The Brand passive is going to be the one picking up the kill this time. Brandon Trundle walking away with kills in the bot lane. First blood going over to Trundle.
Yeah, a pillar of flame and a pillar of ice there. Call it Game of Thrones because that's a couple of kills picked up for that combo. Really well played by RareAdam to come down. Toby Swirls gets punished for walking up a little bit too far, but mid lane, uh-oh.
Yeah, cool open. Taken pretty low here. Sparatrax is going to be the one picking up the kill here, but that's a really good troll pull coming down here as that's going to be Sparatrax walking away using that fear and flashing over the wall as well.
And that's just the power of Trundle. You're able to burn flashes really easily. You can see that RareAdam most likely didn't have the sort of damage to kill Sparatrax there, but just the threat of it forces the flash out. And RareAdam able to walk away and say, you may have given your life cool open, but at least we can look to regank this lane. But Sparatrax picking up an early kill, never good because we saw what they could do with those early kills last game. And there's the magic damage shield that we were expecting.
There it is.
It only took a Bramble Vest to make it come through.
Yeah. It's just I guess the auto attacks were just more damage than Tom Kench's passive at the time. I have no idea how they calculate whether or not you should be getting a magic shield or a physical shield when it comes to Camille. I feel like that'd be a nice thing to like look under the hood and see how they do it.
Yeah, I think part of what it is there were some champions where they had to manually code it to make sure that they were getting the right ones, because especially in the early levels it can be difficult. I know that especially when One For All comes around, Camille's always have a really tough time because you end up having that one person who's like, you know what, we're doing One For All brand, but I'm playing Gale Force brand, so enjoy this one. But I believe I'm looking at the details of it. For example, with little bonus resist, Camille would likely get the most obvious shield type, aka physical damage versus primary dealing physical. However, if she has a sufficient amount of armor against the champion dealing both alternates of physical and magic damage, she would receive a magic damage as the physical damage threat is already being mitigated by armor. So what might happen is, because of the Bramble Vest picked up and that does magic damage, she now gets the magic damage shield.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, that's going to be the Hextech ultimatum up in the top lane here, as White Line is going to be stuck on the other side of that troll pillar as well. But Crotad, you might be stuck in here with the Tom Kench, but RareAdam is going to be the one picking up the kill this time as White Lotus goes down, saves Camille's life as well from the jaws of death. Literally, as that's going to be, quite literally, as that's going to be a kill up into the top lane.
Yeah, and looks like Trundle's just a little bit hungry for some of those catfish fritters. I've never actually had one of those, but I heard they're a thing, so we're going to go with it. It's a good pickup there on the top side to sort of get White Line behind, but on the bot side, this Shinzao able to pick up an early dragon, going for that Eclipse once again. So with that Halo Blade, sort of a given that they wanted to go for that build, but a little bit more difficult this time around because the Eclipse, while it gives you that sort of percent damage, percent health damage against the likes of a Trundle and a Galio, Camille also does percent damage, and if you're going in onto them, they can normally just crowd control you enough that Camille can do her thing on you in the front line.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is you're really going to be locked into fighting one target, especially if Hextech Ultimatum is used onto Shinzao. And you want to know what? It took me a while, but you want to know what Cam and Bert had drafted here? It's a good old-fashioned bounce house. It's a good old-fashioned bounce house comp. I love bounce house comps. That's my favorite thing in the world because I love playing Galio, and I love making sure that my heroic entrance actually does something. But RareAdam here is looking for the gank on the Spaghettius. They have procced the Predator. They're looking for a little bit more, but it looks like they're going to be scared off by that bullet time here coming from the bot lane. Is in the top. White Line is looking for an engage on the Crotad here. Going to wait out that adaptive shield here as the Crotad's trying to turn this into a 1-for-1 as best they can. Healing up just a little bit from potions, but still doing a whole lot. Is Toby Swirls? Okay. Yeah. All right. Throwing out some damage.
It just got to be careful.
You probably shouldn't be underneath Turb, dog.
Yeah. Toby Swirls has to be careful, though. No bullet time yet. Or no bullet time back up yet. Spaghettius doesn't have the flash either. And Lord Grievington and I Beat Froggen both have their ultimates up and available. So this Jinx brand lane actually paying off dividends thus far, getting the roam down from Cool Open. And while Sparatrax was in the area, really not able to find anything. In the end, though, it is just a good gank coming through from RareAdam to get out that one flash from Spaghettius.
Yeah, and It once again, like I think just like reduce it did, or not once again, getting these summoner spells in the bot lane has turned out to be pretty important for the team. Is in the top lane. It's going to be White Lion chewing up and spitting out Camille in the top lane. Shinzao's there to answer as well. As RareAdam's going to throw out that troll pillar as well. Sparatrax, you got nowhere to go. Taunted. That's going to be the amount of this whole bunch of damage. That's going to be Vex going down. RareAdam's on a killing spree, 3-0-1.
That's the power of the Pillar of Ice. You just drop it down. And unfortunately, unable to find that kill on Crowtat on the top side. White Line's looking.
Oh, yeah. He's underneath turret, though. With that Ignite, Crotat's going to be picking up a kill. At first, I thought Crowtab was going down because he accidentally walked back into the Abyssal Voyage there. But it seems that that White Lion just went a little too far forward, and because of that was underneath turret. And that was really what turned that around. Crowtab immediately popping that Ignite real smart and being able to grab that kill. Real good job.
Noob the Legend also flashed for the Wind Becomes Lightning, unable to land that, so that's a big summoner down. I think one thing they could have done to potentially outplay that was when the hook shot was coming through on the initial engage, if Noob the Legend is able to dash to a minion, which was close by, and knock Camille out of the hook shot, they're able to pick up that kill. Just something to keep in mind as an interaction, but regardless, it's a little bit tough, and Camembert coming back with a little bit of a vengeance here. 2,500 gold in the lead. This game, though, I feel like the scaling does favor a little bit more on this side for Cheese Blend, at least in the mid lane here. The cool open will still be Galio, but Sparatrax is in trouble once again.
Yeah, Sparatrax forced to flash here. Gonna walk away. Noob the Legend is nearby. The Predator has been popped, but it doesn't look like they want anything more to do with this fight here. RareAdam might be in some trouble. Okay, the wind is not becoming lightning this time, but in the bot lane, Toby Swirls is actually taking some damage from Jinx. Are we? Okay, there we go. There's the dive right there on top of RareAdam. That's going to be the heroic entrance to re-enter this fight. Toby Swirls over the wall here. Going to be able to pick up one kill, but it's the blue team that's going to be picking up the kill this time. They still can't try the shutdown, and RareAdam is now 1-for-1 as that's going to be Lord Griefington flashing over the wall to find Toby Swirls, but you're walking into a 3v1. Lord Griefington. That's going to be the brand ultimate coming across. It's bouncing around, but still can't quite find the kills. Crowtat is now teleported into the fight. They're going to be chewed up, spat out. RareAdam is going to be taken incredibly low now. So 1v3. Crowtat, can you find the kills for yourself? Everyone is insanely low. Crowtat has to run away, and White Lion is stuck 1v1ing Knife Feet Grandma. That's going to be the dive forward onto Vex. Going to be able to go on a killing spree here. They're going to give shutdown gold away this time. This has gone on so long. There's going to be a teleport coming in from Cool Open here. The cooldown has been, the cast has been finished. He's now looking for a re-engage here. Interrupts the Abyssal Voice to try to get away. White Lion taking incredibly low. Going to pop that shield. Cool Open trying to get away now. Flashes over the wall. Noob Legend looking for the re-engage. The wind has become lightning, but not going to dash forward this time.
Man, that was a lot of action, and it really favored the side of Madison Esports for Cheese Blend. They're able to pick up 2 extra kills, if I'm doing my math correctly, and they get themselves back into this game a little bit. While Noob the Legend did go down very early on into that, Toby Swirl is able to pick up a couple. Spaghettius gets on the board, and Sparatrax gets on the board, but Toby Swirl's fighting a 1v2. That Seer somehow didn't stun them, but I guess it might have been because they walked out of the Pillar of Flame. I was about to make a joke before that about how if Xin Zhao fights a Trundle, is it a Blizzard because Wind Becomes Lightning into a Pillar of Ice? But
maybe.
It completely fell off because there was so much fighting in that time anyways.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing I want to note here is that Lord Griefington is just playing just way too aggressive, and we even saw it right then as well as Crowtat. That's a whole lot of damage on a White Lion there. Regardless, Lord Griefington is just playing so aggressive, like almost too aggressive almost, and this might come back to bite them. All right, they're looking for the 2v1. They find the stun. There's the burst damage coming across. Toby Swirls taking incredibly low. That's the CC coming across. They're able to find the kill, but now in the mid lane, they're looking for Sparatrax here. Is going to be cut off. That's going to be the kill given away to Galio here, as they are able to find the burst damage in the bot lane. Putting my foot in my mouth just a little bit, but here comes Noob the Legend. The wind has become lightning, but not going to land on the Lord Griefington this time. So they're going to be able to back away. They are able to put a kill into their pockets for the brand, not the Jinx. But luckily, you know, Jinx isn't dying, and she's getting some chance to find by herself. Crowtat onto White Lion once more. Trying to fight a little bit in the top lane. That's going to be the thick skin shield proc here. Crotad looking for a little bit more damage. Can't quite find it. Hextech ultimatum underneath the turret. Can be chewed up, spat out. That's going to be the thick skin shield, but Crotad comes out A-OK. They're going to be just fine picking up that kill on to Tom Kench up in the top lane. Thank you, Gord. Thank you, Divine Sunder. Very cool.
Yep, Divine Sunder on both the Camille and the Trundle means that they can cut through this Tom Kench with ease at this point. Of note, though, Spirittrack's able to get first tower, albeit a little bit... Oh, actually, let's see.
Yeah, Sparatrax dives in here, finds the fear. Crotad dashing away. RareAdam is coming in from the side, going to throw down the troll zone, trying to get a little bit more movement speed. They're really hunting for this Vex right here. That's going to be the heroic entrance. This might be just a 2v2 over here. That's going to be Predator Pop. The taunt is good. They're looking for the re-engage. That's going to be the Justice Punch, knocking Noob the Legend into the air, but the Crescent Guard is going to keep them alive for just a little bit longer. They're walking away. It's a wash up in the top lane, but a whole bunch of ultimates were spent.
Yeah, Sparatrax really tried to get that kill onto Crotad, but unfortunately just not enough damage on, or lost vision might have been on that last little bit there, but unfortunately for the Vex, unable to pick up a shutdown onto Crotad, which would have been really good to start to accelerate into the later game. And I sort of rescind my statement from earlier saying that 4Cheese Blend have the scaling advantage, because looking at Xin Zhao now, part of the reason why the Xin Zhao was able to have such an effect into the later stages of the game last game was because he was fed. This game, falling behind this Trundle, only has that clips, no kill participation, and White Lion here is not going to have a chance against these two tank busters of Crotad and RareAdam.
Yeah, and look at this. Crotad doing a very good job of dancing around the... Ooh, that was huge. Crotad is actually going to... Oh, my God. The backflip is so good. They're going to be able to find the kill on the White Lion here. Very, very good job.
Yeah, really well played. I was thinking that maybe Camille holds the hook shot and lands where he finishes the Abyssal Dive, but maybe not trusting the distance on it. Ends up getting it, I think, on the last couple of frames. Always feel weird saying that because it's such a Smash term, but it's like League. But yeah, might have gotten like the 2-frame trick there to finish that off. Beat Froggen. Oh.
Yeah, he's going to throw out the Brand ultimate before going down, so everyone's taking a decent chunk of damage. Brand's going to be the one picking up the kill onto Xin Zhao. Now the rest of the fight is happening. Look at Crotad here, doing so much damage to Toby's Worlds here, trying to guide away here. Crotad going to double kill here. Can they find the third onto Spaghettius? Is going to go over to RareAdam here, but that is a 4 for 2 in the bot lane, going to favor the blue squad.
Yeah, Crotad picks up a kill topside, Bax picks up the pickaxe, teleports, bot picks up 2 more kills, and this Camille is so well played coming through from Crotad. I think this is sort of what they needed to get last game. Get Crotad on a champion where they can carry. The Shen, you know, didn't have as much impact as we wanted and really put a lot of the eggs into the Griefington basket, and despite Froggen and Griefington going down, this Camille is able to capitalize on the back end of it. Sparatrax able to pick up one, but goes down, and they're able to chase down Toby Swirls and Spaghettius to finish off that play. So this Camille is scary, and the later that we get into this game, the more impact she's going to have, because there's no one to match her in the side lane. Vex cannot 1v1 the Camille. If you're sending Noob the Legend down, you don't have a smite, and White Lion, we've seen what happens in that 1v1 already, and it ain't pretty.
Yeah, it really ain't pretty at this stage, and now we're seeing Jinx and Brand walk up into this top lane here. I think this is a little greedy here, considering that the dragon is spawning in about 40 seconds. This is a little poor time to do this lane swap here, but I think this is good, at least somewhat, because Jinx gets an opportunity to farm in a shorter lane. But I'm not quite sure. Okay, I mean, they're leaving now. They're looking for dragon.
The main thing that the side of 4Cheese Blend have to their disposal is the fact that they've already picked up 2 dragons. They're going to try and pick up this 3rd dragon, but it might be ill-advised. White Lion is going to have to teleport in, whereas Crotad is already on the scene. And there is a lot of ways for them to get into that pit with some damage. Of course, the Super Mega Death Rocket. I Beat Froggen gets a ton of burst onto objectives because of that passive, but here's the fight.
Yeah, the teleport is already coming through. RareAdam is going to be able to find Spaghetti. So it's going to be the bullet time coming across. Here comes the heroic entrance here. They're running away from Lord Griefington here, who's 1v2ing over there. Going to be able to find the kill until Xin Zhao, but now they're excited looking for the kill on the White Lion. They're getting away here. Not this time. Super Mega Death Rocket comes across, but RareAdam is going to be the one finishing off the kill this time. It's an ace for the blue team, and now this team is online. They're ready to go. The switch has been turned, and we thought we were getting a clean 2-0 for 4Cheese Blend, but Camembert has been able to turn this around. Are they looking for this Rift Herald?
Yeah, they're looking for the Rift Herald, but I don't know if they have time, but they could just start Baron right on spawn in 15 seconds. They're not going to get this Rift Herald.
It's going to be really close.
They have 5
It's going to be
seconds.
really close.
Oh my goodness, they're going to get it.
Oh my god.
Oh, my goodness, they got it.
Do Baron. Do Baron now. Go do Baron. Go do Baron.
No,
do Baron right now.
No balls, no balls. That's what it is.
No balls.
No, but
Oh
really
my
well
God.
played from them. It's shocking that they were able to pick that up, all things considered. But I want to point out in that last play there that the Trundle Pillar came down really early, and I thought for a second that Toby Swirls was going to be able to dish out enough damage, but unfortunately, the Spaghettius proc that Aftershock, got ulted by RareAdam right at the same time. And what that means is Trundle doesn't die after that. He has so many resistances because he's just sapping them off of Spaghettius. We saw that Nautilus just melt in the face of adversity, and Misfortune just didn't do any damage, just giving time for Crotad to pop off in the backline, and I beat Froggen as well, doing a whole bunch of damage. Still waiting for Lord Griefington to get that first kill there, and I think instead of being Lord Griefington, it should be Lord Grieftington, because unfortunately 5 kills for that support. You really want Instinct to get some of those at least.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's pretty tough, but I feel like I beat Froggen really was like, okay, look, these kills are mine now.
Yeah. I am.
Oh man,
look at me.
Yeah.
I have a Leandries.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, the one thing I will say, and I know Leandries is a pretty much a staple item on brand, but it is very good to add more basically tank damage to this squad right here. It really does make their damage profile just that much more difficult for the red team to deal with here, as RareAdam might be in some trouble. That's going to be the flash over the wall. There's so many knockups into the air. That's going to finally be the last bit of damage. So that's a huge lifeline shield coming across for RareAdam. He might finally be able to turn this around. There's not a whole lot of Grievous moves keeping him down here. Super Mega Death Arc comes across, not going to land onto Toby's World. They have a teleport coming in as well. Spaghettius is going to be the sacrificial lamb here, but it looks like Cool Open is once more. That's going to be the Everfrost picking up the kill as well. That's going to be the blue team picking up 3 kills in the middle lane. Only Sparatrax and White Lion in the side lanes are going to be the ones living it to see the day.
And this is why I think Trundle's such a good pick into Aftershock supports. They're not that tanky to begin with. They really rely on Aftershock. You're just able to steal their resistances away, and then you one-shot everyone because you're Trundle, and you just chomp away their AD. You steal that, and you just start to whack away. And just absolutely ridiculous that RareAdam's able to stay that healthy through all of it. And Divine Thunder just amplifying that healing even further. And now Baron might be a prospectus on the map here. Going to potentially look for that top lane tower first, but Trundle is such a good pick here. And Sparatrax, wow.
Yeah, Sparatrax is in some trouble. I want to see Trundle actually... Oh, wait a minute. Top lane, Crotad. For a bit of damage on the White Lion here. Might look to dive underneath the turret, but I don't think they're that healthy. I need to see Trundle use this Rift Herald, which is what they're probably going into the bot lane for. I think they were doing that before, and then they walked away because I think they saw Sparatrax and then wanted to beat the crap out of him, but I don't know. I think is Shelly being popped? RareAdam, what are we doing? What are we doing with the Shelly here, dog? It's almost gone.
Yeah, Shelly. Oh, it expired.
Oh, okay, well.
Oh, no, it didn't. Wow. Okay,
oh, no, it was popped.
So
okay, there we go.
delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was confused for a second because it was so
Yeah, I was confused
there.
too because it was like it definitely had some more time. Okay, well, Shelly has popped into the bot lane. Sadly enough, they're not able to push with it, so this Shelly is going to be going down. Fun fact for all those who know, and I think you were the one that let me know about this. If Lord Griefington were to kill Shelly in the lane after it was used by the enemy team, Lord Griefington would get excited.
Yes. They do get excited off of that. Very useful to take that down, but it's the opposite way, so
Yeah. It's not we're not gonna see it this game. It's just a fun little interaction. Just a cute little, little fun little tidbit, little fun fact.
Yeah, it does count as an objective, so.
Yeah. Yeah, just a whole bunch of vision being placed around right now. It's really the blue team's turn to be placing their vision into the enemy jungle. I would have liked just a little bit of a deeper ward into the blue side, maybe on the other side of that little mountain soul, little wall right there. But for the most part, I think their vision is fine for protecting themselves for going up into this Baron here. And we see that Crowtat was able to spot 3 people top lane, so this is a very easy Mountain Drake for the blue team to pick up here. And a 4 Mountain Drake Mountain Soul could be very powerful, but I think this game is going to end before that.
Yeah, a 4 Mountain Drake Mountain Soul on top of a Camille and a Trundle, both of whom are bruisers who really appreciate that the most. It means that they can go for a little bit more of an aggressive build. And normally what I like to see is the Titanic Hydra on someone like a Divine Sunder, Camille specifically, but instead just going Ravenous Hydra here, going to be feeling healthy enough and tanky enough with those 2 Mountain Dragons already stacked up that they can go for that option. But Baron just going to get started up by the bot lane here. Crowtat over the wall.
Oh, yeah. Crowtat is already looking for the engagement, and the red team's health bars are already disappearing. Noob the Legend is going to be the next to fall as Renegon is just 1v1ing Toby's Swirls and not taking any damage. And now the last to fall is Sparatrax right here. The only person left is White Lion, and he was way too late to this teleport in order to join his team. So now, if he wants to stay in this game, if he wants to keep his team alive, he's going to have to 1v3. Let's see. That's going to be the immediate engage right here. Let's see if he's able to stop it. He's taking a whole bunch of damage. Going to pop that thick skin shield. Can he find at least 1 kill? Flashes away. Crotat's going to chase him down, but Brand is going to be the one picking up the ace this time round. Spaghettius has respawned. Let's see if they can 1v4. That's going to be a whole bunch of damage from Brand, scaring them away, and the blue team's going to finish off the Nexus before he can engage. That's game number 2. Going over to 4 Cheese Blend Camembert. Or excuse me, Madison Esports Camembert.
Yes. Camembert going to be able to pick up the run back there. The 4 cheese Camembert, yes. There are 8 cheeses in there. I don't know how many cheeses they have. If Chug Jug counts as a cheese as well. But regardless, Camembert able to come back with a really strong game. Crowtat and Renegon really linking up a lot to get as much success as possible. And this is the sort of team comp that they need to play. And I think they showed some cracks in 4 Cheese Blends comp and took advantage of it. So really excited to see what they have for us in store for game 3, because we're going down to the wire in the Cheese Civil War.
Yeah, we're going into a game 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports Season 9. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by RareAdam. We're in game number 3 of the Madison Esports Showdown, the Civil War. Iron Man versus Cheese Man versus Captain Cheesemerica. Madison Esports, a 4-cheese blend is up against Camembert right now. It's a game number 3, and Camembert was looking pretty good in that last game. God. Yeah, and once again, I'm liking this. I'm liking this Camille ban here. It's just, man, it's been 3 games in a row that we've seen this Lulu and Zillion ban targeted at I Beat Froggen here, and I believe, man, I'm just not liking the Zillion ban, honestly, because it's just like 4. It would like they played Zillion like today and yesterday. Like, they have 4 games total this season on Zillion, and all of them were today and yesterday. And that's it. Right. Yep. %. Yeah, it's pretty, it's just annoying, right? Because like I think the worst Yumi that I've seen was one that took Relic Shield, and I was just like, what is happening? What's going on? But for the most part, like, Yumi has been just a very strong champion, mostly because a lot of the 80 carries that have been played recently are very, very mobile. And so that allows you to just get the most amount of use out of your Lost Chapter. And she's either paired with an 80 carry that is very mobile, or with a jungler that heals a lot, right? We've been seeing a lot of Olaf and Yumi as well, being brought to the table, and this could be another Trundle pickup here, especially with this Rel lock-in. Viego being locked in for Cheese Blend here, I think is pretty good. It might have been hit just a little bit by the Gore Drinker nerfs, but I think they're still building Divine Sunderer anyway, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Yeah, I mean, I am reminded that Immortal Shield Bow is also an item, and Viego did get that buff to his ultimate with regards to his crit. So that's probably what we're going to see. And I'm, I brain farted just a little bit, but yeah, it's also like the Trundle pickup here is fine, and I think that there was a lot of success coming down from the Renegon in the last game there. My only problem is I just really think Trundle is a counter pick, and maybe I'm just touting the wrong thing for the longest time, but I just don't like seeing Trundle this early on in the draft, especially when the only tank on the other side that you can see is Rel, and there's an 80 carry on the other side that has a jump and can jump over your pillar.
My mic has been muted this entire time.
Wonderful.
This is what happens when I stream late on
and apparently I'm sus. So I would like to say that I was over in electrical doing wires, and I was doing the task where you have to line up the little rotating circle. That just took me too long because the third one is always annoying, and I'm always like off by like a fraction of a second.
It depends on your ping too. Like I remember before when Among Us was so popular, you would never be able to get a game on NA. So we used to play on Southeast Asia. It was so awful trying to do that little rotator task on 200 ping. Like it was, most of the tasks aren't ping reliant, but that one's so timing based. It was awful. Anyways, Orion and Ziggs are picked up. Wave clear for days.
Yeah, it's definitely wave clear for days for the Ziggs here. That's probably... You want to know what the funny thing is here? Tristana and Ziggs are both flex picks here. We could see a mid Tristana. We have seen that a little bit in Season 11, just some fringe pick early on. And Tristana, like, still, like, is an AD carry that can still go mid. And I'm liking this as well. And the Wukong lock-in as well. I think I like the Trundle pick. I think I'm liking the Trundle pick in a sense of, like, hey... They have Trundle on the enemy team. We can't play the Tom Kench, right? So they lock in the Wukong here, which should be able to be counterpicked here. Let's see what Crotat opts for. It might just be the Camille. They do still have their signature Aatrox on the table, which they've played 102 games of this season, but they're opting for the Malphite, which is going to be their ball delivery service.
Honestly, I wouldn't have minded seeing the Trundle move towards that top lane either. It does quite well into Wukong, but as well, my slight adaptation here would be putting the Ziggs bot lane and putting Tristana mid lane against the Orianna. You can punish that a lot more, but it's going to be interesting to see if they opt for that. Haven't seen Toby Swirls play either the Tristana or the Ziggs in this series specifically, but alongside that route, it might go well to put that Ziggs down there. Just a little bit of theory crafting on my part.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I actually think Ziggs might actually have a really good matchup into this bot lane, right? Because, like, I think you said this earlier, Sivir only has one spell shield, right? And by adding Ziggs to the mix, you now have another spell that can eat the spell shield, which then allows Rel to do her full CC combo onto Sivir, right? And because Yuumi is attached to Sivir, you now CC both Sivir and Yuumi, in quotes, right? Because Yuumi can still cast spells and the like, but it still puts Ziggs and Rel into a position that's a lot better than it was before, forcing out some defensive summoner spells from Sivir and Yuumi. So maybe Ziggs bot, even though that's probably not where it's going, isn't bad here, and Tristana mid is actually pretty good.
Another thing about playing Sivir into Ziggs specifically is you can bait out so much by just using your E. Ziggs E got nerfed. The Hexplosive Minefield, it got nerfed to the point where it's almost not even worth, like, it's only worth taking 1 point, and you max W second now, but it looks the same as the other two spells. So what you can do is you can toss that out, and if Grievington steps on exactly one of them, the spell shield pops, and they're still in the middle of the Hexplosive Minefield. So I want to see Spare Tracks play Tristana here. We're going to find out in 20 seconds. We might have just given them a strat at the same time. They're hovering it because they're definitely... I know they'd listen to this. Oh,
yeah, they're doing it. Okay, we're doing it.
Please.
Tristana mid, baby.
I hope it's... Watch them flex the Sivir mid.
Oh, yeah. That's what they're... Okay, you know what it is? Yeah, I think you're right. Because Tristana is a very low blue essence cost champion, and so is Ziggs. So they're just gonna pick Tristana mid, and then Toby Swirls is gonna lock in Ziggs, and the last moment they're gonna switch. They're trolling us.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm predicting the troll.
Well, we got the troll. Renegon's playing.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you can't predict what's already there, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, I would have liked to see Trundle go top lane into the Wukong, actually. I guess I can talk about this more because they're listening, obviously. Maybe Malphite goes jungle after this, or we get Yuumi top lane. That's what Wonder played. He says it's good, so... but no, Trundle is able to steal that AD off of Wukong, and it's really useful because Wukong gets an AD buff on his Q. He gets, of course, the extra attack speed, and when he's spinning around, he does a lot of damage, and that pillar is so good at either locking Wukong into dashing in and like jumping right out with the clone, or just preventing him from jumping in altogether. So that's my theory craft for today. We'll see if they swap.
Okay.
But right now, Toby Swirls has the Ziggs, as you said. We'll see if this gets swapped, because Rel can build Abyssal Mask, and Ziggs will do a whole bunch of damage if that's the case.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you can even have Ziggs build Horizon Focus as well if you really want to, right? There's a whole lot of things that you could do to like amplify this damage just kind of incidentally, right? So I like Abyssal Mask after a mythic item for Rel seems like a billion years away, but I definitely think it's a pretty good pickup for Spaghettius here. Maybe to go into like Sunfire Aegis and then or even like a Locket would also be very good, and then go into an Abyssal Mask, which is gonna be a mythic item. That's real weird.
Yeah, the changes in the new season, like tank support players. I play a lot of Leona. I saw those changes and I was like, yes, I don't have to build Locket every game. Oh my goodness. But honestly,
I mean, Leona's gonna be way too good. They're gonna have to nerf her passive. It's gonna be like just her passive plus that like makes her team fight like insanely. Can you imagine like landing a solar flare onto like a stacked team? Like not even like just the stun alone is like death sentence. But like the fact that like everyone hit by the solar flare takes Leona like additional damage, and then the Abyssal Mask additional damage. Like, holy moly. Yeah. It's just insane. But this is like theory crafting on things that are happening in the future. I think theory crafting, we've already done some theory crafting about both these teams here. Who are we looking for maybe some like early pressure? What are both these teams looking for here, Adam?
Yeah, in terms of actual crafting here, Tristana will have a lot of priority in that mid lane against Orianna. Ori doesn't really offer too much damage in that early game. It is consistent, but Tristana can jump in level 2 if you take Hail of Blades and get that bomb explosion really quickly on top of someone like an Orianna and be able to get your jump resets. So Spare Tracks will have a lot of priority in that lane. Viego has some decent early ganks as well and could look towards the top side, where Crotad, not going to be having too much armor in that early game, might be susceptible to getting ganked. And on the bot side here, honestly, I'd like to see Rel build an Abyssal Mask first before the Mythic, because Rel doesn't really like a lot of the Mythics anyways. Turbo Chem Tank kind of sucks now. Shirelia's makes you so squishy, and then Locket, I think every tank support player hates the fact that we have to build Locket, but Rel going first item Abyssal Mask might not be the worst idea here. So I'm really looking towards those three members for Cheese Blend. For Camembert, of course, RareAdam can pop off once again, and if Griefington can goes lethality, which might be the case with Yuumi, where you get that just bonus AD, we could see Griefington really punish the likes of this Ziggs Rel with those boomerang blades.
Yeah, but with that, we're going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the rift of Madison Esports 4 Cheese Blend up against Madison Esports Camembert. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back right after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports Season 9. My name is Shinkari, and I'm joined by RareAdam, and we are on the Rift of game number 3 of Madison Esports 4G's Blend up against Madison Esports Camembert. We have a standard 4-5-point start here with Toby Swirls just playing a little bit far forward here, maybe looking to get some cheeky spells onto the Trundle right here, but not going to be able to find it this time. 5-point start. Gonna look to maybe just be a little bit more conservative with our starts here.
Well, speaking of conservative, RareAdam is not going conservative at all. Not buying a potion and going Ignite this game. So looking to try and punish as much as possible. Of note, Sparatrax actually went Electrocute as well. So no Hail of Blades for that early game power. We were looking at the runes, we're like, yeah, everything's normal. We just kind of looked at the color of things. And then we look at it and it's like, Sparatrax doesn't get Electrocute. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be just a little bit better from the mid lane there if you're looking for more 1v1 trades.
God.
What is this? I didn't even know Rel did the whole horse thing. The dance where she goes on to like the little like coin activated like riding on a horse thing.
It's pretty great, and it's really funny to spam because you just sort of float around. And it's one of my favorite taunt spams alongside Bard's. I believe it's his taunt where he just sort of... he always faces the same way, so if you're walking in the opposite direction, he kind of spins around. Polypuff taught me that one.
Yeah, I mean, I just like spamming his the one where he pounds his belly. I think that's cute.
Yes.
You just tap your tum-tum over and over.
Oh.
As Sparatrax immediately diving in, gonna get that Electrocute proc and a decent chunk of damage as well. And yeah, that's going to be what we're going to be... I think that's what we're mostly going to be seeing in this mid lane as well. Coolpen definitely is on a champion that can harass early because of that passive that Orianna has. Can definitely deal a decent chunk of damage. She auto-attacks the same target over and over. Problem is, Sparatrax is just such a longer range champion that they're not really going to find a whole lot of ideal trades or even some real consistent poke damage onto Sparatrax.
And the Electrocute is going to start to come online a little bit later into the game, but I just think you're missing out on a whole lot of early game pressure by not going Hail of Blades. Ignite, of course, is going to help that out. Normally, I like to see the teleport on Tristana because she's such a menace in those side lanes, being able to knock down towers with that explosive charge, but Sparatrax obviously knows a little bit more than I do, obviously taking that Electrocute to maybe try and get some extra damage as opposed to just getting the damage quicker, and that might be the angle for Sparatrax in this lane. But thus far in the bot lane, Lord Griefington having to use that Boomerang Blade a lot and making it cost a whole lot of mana, so I'm interested to see if Griefington just walks into some of these and uses that Spell Shield just to get some of that mana back, and that's a tip that really works well on the likes of Lethality Sivir because you're gated so much heavier by your mana pool as opposed to on-hit Sivir.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is Sivir actually stacks that tier very slowly and just kind of relies on building the Manamune kind of soon so that she can get the tier just a little bit faster. As Nagon might have found out Noob the Legend here, dives back in, finds the stun. That's going to be the press the attack trigger, but here comes Sparatrax over the wall. That's going to be the teleport coming in from the blue side as well. Renegon's going to try to run for the light, but that's going to be the flash forward, the stun as well. This might be first blood, absolutely. White Line's going to be the one picking it up. Sparatrax is going to jump forward, going to get that reset, but still can't quite find the rest of the damage there. Noob the Legend is going to become Trundle, maybe follow up for the rest of the team, but the rest of the team cannot follow through. It's 1-0's first blood. Going over to 4G's Blend.
Yeah, going over to White Lion, who's, despite all of that, having a little bit of a tough time in the top lane, able to get first blood, though, and Sparatrax did flash a little bit too aggressively, but Renegon really punished for not having that flash there as Noob the Legend being able to follow up on the 3-stack explosive charge with the Spectral Maw, and White Lion able to come in from the side to pick up that kill. So really good play from 4G's Blend to take a little bit of an early advantage, and Sparatrax still has to be careful because Orianna does have damage. She is not a Yuumi. She is not a Rel. She does damage. Yuumi does damage too, though.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to need to build into it now. Regardless, I think this is actually pretty devastating for Crotad, though, because First Blood being on Wukong, and especially on a player like White Lion, who really likes going for 1v1s and harassing their opponent, the opposing laner a whole lot, even though they're sitting on the Bramble Vest right now, First Blood does give you a decent chunk of gold, and right now they're sitting on 1,300. So that means that that Crotad's going to be in some trouble when these trades come through. As now Viego is going to have actually be some trouble for Cool Open here. Going to be taken to below half HP, but can't dive past the turret, so they're going to spend just a little bit more time backing and resetting.
Yeah, got to be careful there as the Orianna, especially when there's a Viego who can just stall your back out. Sparatrack's actually going to get this wave pushed all the way into that tower with the help of Viego, and Orianna forced to stay despite not having a whole lot of mana. Sparatrax does have the kill threat here because of level 6, but will just opt to back off and buy that Noon Quiver most likely as first item Oblivion Orb for Toby Swirls. We've seen them be forced to buy these Grievous Wounds so early every single game, and it just kind of feels bad because it's 800 gold tax every game.
Yeah, RareAdam might actually be able to find out Noob the Legend here. He just doesn't have the vision on the white line, and coming in here, that RareAdam's actually able to find that kill out first, trying to get away here, going to use that smite in order to heal back up. Does get that chomp turn around. Can he turn around, get that more? But you're tanking Gromp as well. That's going to be the unstoppable force coming in for as well. Crotad taking incredibly, going to take white line pretty low here, but here comes Tristana in from the mid lane here. Crotad, you're walking over a ward here. They're not going to go invisible this time. Sparatrax is going to be the one picking up the kill, as Malphite is going to be the sacrificial lamb for RareAdam trying to leave the jungle.
Yeah, RareAdam does so much damage to Viego there off of the Sheen proc as well as that Ignite. I believe press the attack procced on that exact chomp as well, so just from 30% HP, no chance for Viego to even try and stay alive by smiting the Gromp or anything, but regardless, RareAdam able to find one, does sort of bait Crotad into burning that flash, burning that ultimate, and still goes down to Sparatrax, and that's not someone you want to give a kill to. Tristana loves getting early kills because it means that she can pick up that I would want to say Gale Force this game a little bit earlier, but Cool Open. Ooh.
Yeah, Command Shockwave was underneath turret. Command Attack is going to be the one picking up the kill this time. Cool Open in the mid lane, shutting down Sparatrax, but we are going to get a quick pause here. It looks like we do this DC really quickly here. Excuse me. Oh.
What did chat say there? I want to see that again.
I have no idea. I'm good. I'm good, honestly.
Did you know Nora is the owner of the cat Yumi? Did you know Nunu is just a boy? His Yeti companion Willump is the real star of the show. Did you know Rel has a horse? Did you know Kata Jin is just a stage name? No one knows Jin's true identity.
But that's just a theory. A game theory.
Those tips sucked.
Yeah.
One of them was, did you know teams that don't FF win more than those who do? Wow, you don't say, I beat Froggen.
Thank you. Thank you for your wisdom, honestly.
A very cool wisdom as
yeah.
Still waiting for Lord Grieving to reconnect, but thus far in this early game, both these teams have been going blow for blow thus far, and Sparatrax dying under that turret kinda sucks for the Tristana.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, it was real tough for Orianna. I mean, Orianna's been staying in this lane for so long, and they took the exhaust as well. So everyone opting here, there's only 2 teleports across both teams here. So the big problem, the big thing here is that there's not going to be a whole lot of side wave pressure from either team. Malphite is going to be the best person to push the side waves, in my opinion. The big thing here is Orianna, for the longest time, was not exactly having a good time in the mid lane. You know, nearly had a death to the Viego as well, was being bullied a lot by the Tristana. Now she's going to have a decent chunk of gold in her pocket and be able to back for that that lost chapter as well. So we'll have to see how this impacts the mid lane. I expect to see Orianna just being a little bit more forward because she's up definitely up in gold with 11 CS and tied in kills.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult for this Wukong actually, because there's a big wave coming in, and Crotad has been doing quite well to really punish out this Wukong pick thus far. Has the Bramble Vest, building up that armor really quickly as still just awaiting some more news on what's going on. But Wukong has been doing okay, picked up first blood of course, but this wave is in an interesting spot, not only for Crotad, but for White Lion, as neither of them have teleport to go towards this dragon, and you can see the priority of both teams moving down towards that side, as I should probably move off the screen because we're in a pause. I always forget to do that, because we're used to like having pauses be relatively short, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about. We're only 7 minutes in. There's been only a couple kills, and the gold is rather tied up right now. This is a game 3, so winner take all. This is match point right here. The big thing here is whether or not we're going to get the Lord Griefington of game. Whether or not I think Lord Griefington is on a champion that is. Man, I'd hate to say this, but not as high a priority for the whole team, right? They're not on the Jinx anymore. They're on the Sivir, who is a little bit more utility based. They are going to be doing damage, but they're not going to be as impactful if Lord Griefington decides to just flash forward and try to tunnel vision on a kill or something.
Yes, I think that going to be difficult for Lord Griefington to, as we've said this entire game, only one spell shield, so always got to keep our eye on that. And when that is used, because you use that on the wrong ability, I mean, I don't even think there's a wrong ability. I think it's just you need to time it properly, and it doesn't matter what ability it is, as long as you're getting out of a sticky situation with it and keeping yourself alive. That is the most important thing. But yeah, Ziggs has a whole bunch of things that you want to dodge away from. Rel's entire kit, Wukong's entire kit, Tristana's explosive. There's just so much. It's going to be difficult for Lord Griefington.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's now. I'm really going to be looking over at Lord Griefington for sure. I mean, this spell shield is going to be really important, but if it gets into the late game, they're running into too much CC. They might. I mean, it's 1,300 gold, but QSS, it's right there. It's just my big problem. The other problem is a lot of the CC that the blue team does have is something that can't be cleansed away. So maybe it's not there, right? But that spell shield is only going to help with just one ability. So you're right. I mean, it's going to be the timing to see whether or not you can use it to be very effective.
Yes, and still waiting. Lord Griefington will come back. Please come back. We miss you.
Yeah, we miss you. I'm sorry that I said that you're on an AD carry that isn't important to your team. You are important. Please come back to the game.
There is a lot of value that is got. Oh, bruh.
All right. How you doing today, Adam? Were you able to catch Worlds today?
I was not. I woke up very early, but I had to work this morning, so unfortunately didn't catch it. I watched the replay later, and Dumb on Kia is just they're cut from a different cloth. This is our knockout version of the Plunge. This is the pause.
Yeah, I'm never able to be awake because Worlds is on. It's just such an awful time for me, and then I forget that Worlds happens. And then later in the day, people are like, "Did you see the Worlds game?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was a thing that was supposed to happen today, huh?" It's on at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's awful. It's just the second Worlds in a row that has just been an awful time for me to watch. Yeah. Right before it was China at I think it was 11 o'clock at night that game started, and I was just like, "Come on, I'm gonna be up for maybe one of these games, but not 2 of them."
Yeah, it really depends, and really the only time that we get games that are at good times is when it's in NA. But then it's awful for all the Asian viewers as well, which is why at least next year we get to get some decent game times in. They're not too bad for EU as well because they're generally happen at night for them, 9 p.m. But yeah, the EU games, especially for I guess West Coast viewers like yourself, it would be 4 a.m. Whereas I can wake up at 7, 8 a.m. and still catch the games.
Yeah. Okay. We're finally back in it. Yes. All right. We're back in it. We're watching some League of Legends. We're commentating some League of Legends. Let's get this show on the road here. Okay.
The pause after the pause, perfectly timed for the stinger. They can hear us talking through the stinger this time because they didn't bother to mute us. But
yeah, I mean it's just it's lovely spectator client here on North American servers, not the tournament realm. You get after the pause is done, the game then needs to pause again in order to catch up here. But White Lion underneath the turret has to deal with Crotat here. It actually does a whole lot of damage. It's going to be the reactivation here. Crotat's not going to die underneath turret. And meanwhile, in the bot lane, Lord Griefington actually doing a whole bunch of damage to Spaghettius here. Taken incredibly low. Trundle is on the back end here. They can find the last bit of damage that they need to with that little Q there. But Noob the Legend has said, "Hello, I'm here. I'm Viego. And here's my little mist." But no one wants to fight a Viego right now. So they're like, okay, we're leaving. Except for Lord Griefington, who's still here.
Yeah, Lord Griefington has the spell shield up and available, so would be able to dodge away from the Heartbreaker, but instead, Renegon's going to say, I have priority in my bot lane. I know that Sivir's down here, and she's got the wave pushed in. I'm going to try and take Dragon, and then Viego says no.
Yeah. Yeah, Viego say no, but he's walking away. I don't think they spotted him in the mid lane here, but once again, Renegon is trying again for this early Ocean Drake here. They should be able to get this easy peasy. I don't think there's a whole lot that Toby Swirls can do to steal it. It's just going to be that ultimate. Yep, here it comes. Mega Inferno Bomb over the wall. Not going to be able to find it this time. Tries for the steal, though. I think it's a perfect time to do so because I think bot lane was resetting anyway. Or not, as Toby Swirls is just returning the lane.
Yeah. They decide not to. Lord Griefington doesn't have a whole lot of mana, but of course with the spell shield can get at least, well, you get 90 mana back, which is exactly how much your rank 3 Boomerang Blade costs, so not the worst case situation, but Toby Swirl is actually doing a decent amount of damage despite, you know, only having that Oblivion Orb.
Yeah, and I think that's more speaking to folks who bring, you know what, I want to actually see what Lord Griefington bought, because I think this is a little bit important right now. Okay, did bring the magic resist runes, so they do have that +8 magic resist, but it, you know, that's only 8. You know, we've reached the point where under like an item and a half that like Ziggs actually does some damage. Is now Sparatrax trying to dive on a call open, but it looks like the return damage is there. That's going to be a huge shockwave coming across, trying to get that last bit of damage with an auto attack, but here comes New the Legend in from the side on the Viego, from the force the flash away from Cool Open here, trying to return some damage, but not going to be able to find a whole lot of success. They're going to take Sparatrax very low, force out the flash. They're going to have the flash in response here as Lord Griefington still staying in the spot lane. Spaghettius coming in from the side.
Yeah, and
that's
let's
going to
see
be
if there's an engage.
Final chapter comes across as well. That's going to be turned around. Toby's Worlds is actually going to go down here. Lord Griefington trying to look around for more here. But Skedius is going to mount up and get away. 1-0 in the bot lane.
Yeah, and I need to make sure I'm caught up. Oh, no. My spectator client's broken. I actually can't do anything. So I'm stuck slightly behind. But
okay, I'm at 10:30. I'll pause at 10:35. How'd that?
Yes, and I'm 10:31, 32, 33, 34, 35. How did this happen with the spectator client? I cannot click anything.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm at 10:43, 44, 45. We're synced up?
Yes, we are synced up.
Okay.
My hotkeys are broken. That's what... Oh, maybe I fixed... Did I fix it?
Who knows? All I know is that that's going to be Noob the Legend diving onto I Beat Frog in here, who is on Yuumi, so he's going to have to run away before they can tether back. But it looks like they're going to be fine as Crotad. That's going to be Renegon popping the Rift Herald as well, trying to unlock this Malphite in the top lane here. Going to give him a bit of time to really slam onto these turret plates, but it looks like they're looking for the turret dive here. The Troll Pillar does not land. That's going to be the unstoppable force to re-engage. Crotad tanking up the turret here. A-okay. They're going to look to take down this turret, but here comes Sparatrax diving in. Going to put a decent chunk of damage onto Crotad right here, but Crotad is immediately running in the other direction and keeps running for the hills. Sparatrax looking for a little bit of damage onto Renegon. Going to be able to find it with the help of the turret. They're going to be backing away here, so it looks like that's going to be a reset from the red squad as they pick up a whole bunch of turrets and a kill for themselves in the top lane.
Something I really want to point out here is the fact that Sparatrax is hemorrhaging out so much experience throughout this game. Had to roam in a couple times to try and clean up some kills after White Lion got caught out, but it's given this Orianna such an experienced lead. If I look over at them, right now Sparatrax has just hit level 9, whereas Cool Open has been level 10 for a little bit. Gonna get this wave to clean up. This is about a level and a quarter between the two of them. So Orianna's gonna get that rank 2 ultimate and have more kill pressure on this Tristana, which is troubling because... Oh.
Yeah, I saw Toby Swirls nearly go down there. In that bot lane, they just almost got clipped by the end of the Lord Griefington. Excuse me, I'm for some reason getting very burpy, but you know, it's going to be almost got clipped by the end of the queue there. But you're right, like, you know, not having teleport on the Sparatrax, but also roaming around the map means that you're going to be missing out on a whole lot of CS and experience. If you take a look, Cool Open is up a level, and he's also up about 23 CS at this point, and that's just from a lot of times Tristana spent roaming around the map. And look, That's where they're going right now. And they're not really getting a whole lot of it off of it either way, too. So now they're going to have to get a kill here onto the Sivir in order to make this time out of lane worth it, as in the top lane. White Lion taking some damage with Lord Griefington going in here. Going to pop that ultimate. The Magnustorm is going to keep them inside right here. That's going to be the Mega Inferno Bomb coming across, and that's going to be Lord Griefington going down. Spirit Track's going to be hopping on top of the Yuumi here. Going to be able to pick up that kill. Cool open coming in from the side here, looking for a little bit more because that Ziggs is really low. Meanwhile, Crotad in the top lane looking for the kill on the White Line. Not going to be able to do it. The red team backs away on the bot side here. Going to be spotted out. Viego might be looking for an engage here. RareAdam, that's going to be the troll pillar coming across, and that's going to be Spirit Track showing up as well, but that's going to be a 1v1s as Spirit Track's going to hop over the wall, going to turn this into a 2v2 now. RareAdam's going to be the one picking up the kill onto Noob the Legend here. That's going to be a 1-for-0 in the river here as Spirit Track's looking to re-enter this mid lane and maybe fight this Orianna with the Rel there.
A lot just happened across the map there. Spirit Track's able to finally find something to sort of get their pockets on, but Cool Open has just been farming so well. As we said, hit level 11 before Spirit Tracks is even able to hit level 10, and this is really scary to see this Orianna have this much priority on the map. Spirit Tracks consistently forced the back, and up on the top side here, Crotad has a 30 CS lead, and what we thought would be a pretty good matchup for this Wukong, but the Malphite just doesn't care and has gotten a decent amount of jungle attention from RareAdam. Will be able to pick up first tower here, probably on the next wave as well.
Yeah, I think White Lion really need... I think they're backing here. They really need that Divine Sunderer in order to compete with this Malphite at this point, because they are sitting on those plated steel camps and those bramble vests and have been for a very long time. So it's really tough to actually damage Crotad right now. And, you know, they could just be building into an Iceborne Gauntlet as well. So there's just a whole bunch of damage that Crotad can do as well. And it's just really, really tough in this top lane to really contest against someone who's just stacking against your damage type is now. That's going to be Noob the Legend getting in here. That's going to be the Conqueror procced, looking for a little bit more damage, but that's going to be Malphite walking away. This is going to be them just resetting up in that top lane. Noob the White Lion now has that Divine Thunder, so definitely going to be really tough with this Malphite now.
And the spectator client actually just hates me. It keeps like stuttering for half a second, so I keep having to try and catch up, and then it stutters again. But small indie company, we'll just put it that way.
Yeah, 1540 right now. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at 1535. My goodness.
Okay, well, as we get RareAdam into this mid lane here, Spirit Tracks, that's going to be the Shockwave popped as well. Do you need me to pause for you?
We're good as Shockwave. Yep, just popped as the flash goes over.
Okay, 55, 56. 57.
Oh, my goodness, we are
58,
way off.
59, I'm going to pause at 16.
Yep, and I am catching up. 7, 58, 59, 16. We did it.
Yeah, sorry that y'all have to deal with us turning the lights on in Space Mountain a bit here. We've been dealing with spectator client issues ever since 11.17. I'm fairly certain.
Yes.
And it doesn't seem like Riot's priority right now is to fix the spectator client on live servers. You know, as long as it works on Tournament Realm, it don't matter. That's going to be Crotad fighting White Lion in the top lane here. Going to flash away, but that's the unstoppable force in order to follow up. This Wukong is going to be worth 274 gold. Crotad's on a killing spree.
Yeah, in the end, you know, spec client, at least we have it. I remember like season 5, season 6 when I started playing that there wasn't, like, you had to use like third-party really sketchy spectator clients to try and like spectate games. But regardless, Camembert here have been able to pick up a whole lot of gold on the map. They've picked up about a 3,000 gold lead in the last little bit, and Griefington here on this bot lane has gotten a decent chunk of damage on this turret, which is surprising considering you're playing against these Ziggs. So being able to push into that Ziggs consistently has done quite well. And Sivir, the old story about her, the old sort of tale is that, you know, you get to 300 CS and you win the game. That's the kind of the story with on-hit Sivir, but on...
Yeah, Dark Harvest Sivir, you can just throw out random Qs and be able to pick up the kills. RareAdam is going to pop that ultimate on the Noob the Legend here. They're trying to collapse it to 2v1 right now. RareAdam has to do his best to try to survive. He's taken incredibly low. There's no one here to back him up. Never mind. Here comes Lord Griefington. They're able to find one. Oh, never mind. Noob the Legend is now trundled. There's going to be very close. That's going to be the Heartbreaker coming across. He's taken incredibly low. Can Yuumi help him survive? He doesn't have any mana, but immediately I-Beat Frog and is abandoning the Sivir here, trying to get away. That's the crash down. Going to dash onto Orianna. That's going to be the Shockwave coming across. Spaghettius is going to go down. It's now a 2v1. or 2v2 rather. They're going to back away. It ends up being a 2-for-1 in the bot lane.
Yeah, 2-for-1 as a little bit too deep from Spaghettius. Nice score on the board right now as the side of 4Cheese Blend are able to get themselves back a little bit, but they lost 3 towers in the course of the last couple of minutes, and that's really detrimental for their mid-game specifically here. Sparatrax still 2 levels down on Cool Open here, who's been able to just sit in this mid lane, pick up so much experience while Sparatrax tries to make proactive plays, and unfortunately it's costing them, but Tristana Zig's great at taking down towers. Oh my goodness, the damage though.
Yeah, too bad. Here comes Trundle in from the side here. Sparatrax is in some trouble, doesn't have that jump, and now Toby Swirls is in some trouble as well. They're going to be able to find 2 kills at the end of that. They can now, I think they can just do the same thing they did last game and walk back over to the Rift Herald, but it looks like they're just going to ignore that because Dragon is spawning in just a little bit.
Yeah, so man, this client hates me. It's all happens if there's a pause that's too long as well. Then clients just get angry.
Yeah, here. Okay, so what are we looking at for your time right here? I'm at
19. 55, 56, 57. We're going to have to do this every couple minutes at this point.
Okay. I'm going to pause at 19:10.
And I will let you know when I am at 1907, 1908, 1909, 1910.
Okay.
And it stuttered for me there too. Whatever. We're good enough. We're
wonderful. We love to see it. I'm just going to be casting the future. That's what's going to happen. I'm a time traveler. That's what's up.
Actually, Shinkari, give us radio style for a bit. I'm going to restart the client.
All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, that's fine. I thought you meant like actual, like go into it like, and now, ladies and gentlemen. Like,
honestly, you could do that as well.
Okay, well, Noob the Legend is already starting up this dragon here. Renegon is here to answer. He's got Yuumi tied to them right now. His white line is going to be diving in, using that ultimate as well. That's going to be the Lost Chapter coming across as well. Renegon is taken incredibly low. There's the stunned up. There's so much CC. Renegon can't get out of here. They're trying to get away, but they just healing up so much that they don't. There's not going to be enough. Crowtat has finally entered the fight. Is able to get 2 kills. White line is incredibly low, though. Griefington is going to try to survive as much as they can't quite find it. White line is trying to run for their life. They're incredibly low. Crowtat is definitely looking for this kill. They can't quite find it. Everyone is so incredibly low, but they can't quite finish off the kill here. Sparatrax re-enters the fight. Crowtat is still alive, staying alive for as long as possible. Sparatrax jumps on top of him. He's tanking the dragon right now. Is now I Beat Froggen versus Sparatrax, but I think I Beat Froggen might be tanking up the dragon right now, and they're taken incredibly low, but the shield at the last moment. Yuumi is able to live and not die. Tanks up the dragon for a few hits as well, as that's going to be I believe, a 3 for 3?
4 for
3 for 4?
3 for 4, yes. As we reconnected.
Yes.
And now we got to sync up again, as I'm pretty sure I sped through most of that fight because we were a little behind, but they got to see all the action.
2050 I'm paused at.
And I am catching up to 2050 right now. And 2049, 2050. And hopefully the spec client behaves itself now. No one took dragon.
Yeah, no one took dragon, and now Renegon is back here trying to retake it. But here comes Spaghettius. We're getting a teleport in from the Malphite as well. We're gonna get a repeat performance because that unstoppable force is back in town. Oh my God, Crowtat does so much damage to Toby Swirls here, and they're gonna be able to pick up that kill. It's now a 1 for nothing so far. They're up about 3,000 gold. I don't think you want to take this 4v5 right now. White Lion and Spaghettius are around the side here, but Crowtat still has that unstoppable force available to them, so they're going to be able to pick up this Mountain Drake, and now they're on Soul Point.
And this is Mountain Soul potentially on the mountain itself in terms of Malphite. Scary. Renee
I mean, it's
like it. Everyone likes it.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of dragons, I think it is one of the better souls in my opinion, just because it just gives you that little bit of more wiggle room to work with in terms of HP. But Renegon's going to go down here. That's the Magna Storm coming across, and that's going to be I Beat Froggen. Going to have to untether and go back to Lord Griefington here. Now has to run for the hills, but that's a really good troll pillar here coming down from Noob the Legend here, as he's now going to become Sivir at the end of that. Shut down for actually Viego, not for Sivir. But you know what? Spec Client likes telling us whatever champion that Viego is. Right now he's Yuumi. Wait a minute. Can you tether to people?
Yes,
as Viego Yuumi?
Viego Yuumi. It's really funny, but unfortunately they aren't going for Baron. They might lose his bot side too.
Yeah, Crotad is going to be just going to ignore all the other champions and just take the turrets with the help of Shelly. Crotad might have to use that ultimate in order to get away, but Cool Open is looking for Spirit Tracks here. Is going to be coming to the punish to make an Inferno Bomb coming across, a whole bunch of burst damage to follow up as well. Noob the Legend is going to be on a killing spree, going to turn himself into an Oriana and start walking away as Crotad gets out A-OK, taking some chickens.
Yeah, going to be able to survive as overall really good turn of events for Forchi's Blend. They're able to save their inhibitor, although I think maybe they just give up inhibitor and go for Baron there. Might not be a bad option either. It is your bot lane inhibitor, so it's closer to Dragon. A little bit difficult to call that macro play overall, but in the end, they're able to find what works for them. They save their inhibitor, and they're still up and alive for Baron, which is the most important part, because when you've got this Lethality Sivir and a Trundle, it's not as fast as a Viego, Tristana, Ziggs, you know. It's going to take some time to take down that Baron. So realistically, the side of Forchi's have the advantage when it comes to taking Baron, but Spirit Tracks, oh my goodness.
Yeah, RareAdam has popped the Trundle ultimate onto Spirit Tracks here, taking a decent chunk of damage with the rest of the blue team. The entire blue team is here. The red team immediately is pinging onto the inside of the base here. Trundle has to, can't stop the backs because they are so far away, but the red team is just shoving down these turrets right now. They have to be careful though. The backs are coming in. Mega Inferno Bomb comes across, but they're trying to get down as much damage onto this turret as possible. They might have just saved RareAdam's life, but now they're in some trouble right now, as that's going to be on the hunt popped. Crotad is here, does have that unstoppable force, but that's going to be Sivir long gone before the blue team can even engage.
And it's still a little bit of perplexing macro choices, at least, coming out from the side of Forchi's. They ought to send 5 members up to the top side, and then they realize, wait, we got to defend our base, but they send everyone back as well instead of just sending the Ziggs. Once again, maybe you give up the inhibitor tower and go for Baron, because you take Baron so quickly as this team comp. You have the Tristana, you have the Viego, you have a Wukong. You can send Ziggs and Rel back. They can most likely defend in that situation, although maybe they're just scared of getting engaged on. But, you know, if you give up an inhibitor to try and get something back into the game, it's better than just getting a tier 1 tower and losing almost your inhibitor tower for it. It's just a little bit questionable from my perspective. Yeah,
it's definitely looking to be a little weird. I think it's a little weird as well. But now we'll start to see a little bit of the repercussions of that play right there, because they weren't able to finish off that turret, which is really important because tier 3s heal the damage, albeit rather slow, but it does still mean that that damage is not permanent. And the longer time that Camembert here doesn't spend attacking that turret, is just going to be more time for them to come back into it, as Crotad looking to try to 2v1 here. Is make that 2.5v1. Is that the Mega Inferno Bomb coming across as well? That's going to be the Troll Pillar separating up the blue team right here. Spirit Tracks is going to dive forward looking for the kill, and the Crotad can't quite get there. That's going to be the final chapter coming across, and they're going to be able to find the kill onto Viego there, as now Spirit Tracks tries to get away, but takes a whole bunch of poke damage in response. The whole red team is here. Wukong is in the bot lane. They have to force this fight or go to the Baron, otherwise they're going to lose a whole lot of their base. Cool Open goes forward looking for more. That's going to be Shockwave pulling them in closer. Spaghettius tries to dive into, making this a little bit of a better opportunity for their team, but they're not going to be able to find it, as that's going to be the team picking up 2 kills for themselves and maybe scaring away this Wukong, as Malphite has backed. Let's see.
And I just want to say that this Malphite's so tanky right now. It's so difficult to take down, despite the Divine Sunder, despite the Kraken Slayer, because all of this armor has been built up, and the only person doing any magic damage is 1 in 5, so it's very difficult for the Ziggs to have as much damage to deal to the likes of this Malphite, as I suddenly have the burp spell from you. Spectator bug doesn't work, then I just get everything, but Dragon going to be taken down here. Let's see if Crotad can steal this.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really close. Okay, the blue team's going to be securing the dragon here, but here comes the red team here. They're going to be slowed down from Dragon Soul, but are they going to be slowed down? Absolutely not. That's going to be 2 kills already picked up for the red team. They're now looking to close out a little bit more. White Lion is going to be slowed up by this Yumi. Here comes the final chapter as well. He's going to get rooted up. He can't go anywhere this time. That's going to be a double kill for the Renangon right here, as Noob the Legend is now slowed up. You can't disrespect slows in League of Legends anymore, as they might be looking to end the game. Oriana is escorting a wave right now. Sivir is escorting a wave in the mid lane. RareAdam is just going to ignore the turret and just start wailing on the mid inhibitor turret right here. They have the Baron buff. They have the team. Can they end the game?
Yeah, Yumi's just sitting there looking proud of herself as Trundle just whacks down those turrets, but they might be able to end the game here.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole bunch of damage onto these Nexus turrets here. Spaghettius is going to re-engage here. That Magnet Storm is pretty huge, and one of these Nexus turrets is already down. Spaghettius is taking incredibly well, and Cool Open 2 is going to be the one taking up the kill here. Nubilar is trying to get away. It does have that a little bit of additional movement speed, but it's taking incredibly low. Shockwave comes across, not going to be able to find the kill. Totally Swirls is taking incredibly low, and they're going to be going down next. White Lion is the only person here with full HP, but he can't stop the onslaught onto the Nexus. That's going to be game number 3, picked up by Madison Esports Camembert.
Yeah, Camembert are able to pick themselves up the series victory, coming back from the game down to start us off, and really well played from them. They were able to really play around Crotad in games 2 and 3, and RareAdam on this Trundle, a force to be reckoned with for sure, and at the end of it, very difficult for the side of 4cheeseblend to really get themselves back into the series, and looks like you just got too much variety this time around. Come on, Barry. Keep it nice and simple and pick themselves up this series victory.
Yeah, and definitely looking really good too. I mean, coming out of game 1, I was a little suspicious of Camembert right here, and I was just throwing up some question marks just because like I watched that game and it's just like, you know, it was a little bit of an upset that first game there. You know, I had some pretty high expectations for Camembert coming into this game. Just looking across the board, I was like, okay, we have some folks who play this game a decent chunk. They're much higher ranks than their lane opponents in some cases, and it just seemed like Spaghettius was in game 1 just had a really good game on the Nautilus. And they were banned out. They had a lot of their comfort banned out as well for 4cheeseblend, so they weren't able to play a lot of these champions that they're very good at. And that early game was very good for White Lion as well. Like White Lion was doing very well on the Tahm Kench in game 1 and even in game 2 as well. But you know, Madison Esports Camembert just came out really on top here, just doing a very good job for themselves. You know, I could probably go on for a much longer time, but I'm gonna pass it over to you. What are your thoughts at the closing end of this game?
I think Spaghettius on that Nautilus in game 1 sort of just had that that Q on a point and click to an extent, and it was really powerful for them to really snowball their advantages, get the kills onto the right members, and their teamfight comp was just so potent. But we saw the side of Camembert come back in game 2, really playing around Camille in that game, as well as the Trundle, getting them to a position where they have that momentum, and this Malphite pickup here just so strong. They shut down the Ziggs, and really after that there's no damage at the side of 4cheeseblend were able to pull off. But really well played game. Of course, both of these teams very close because, you know, they're part of the same organization. So hope they both had fun in this series as well.
Yeah, these folks all go to the same school, so I can bet that like tomorrow, I can just imagine Crotad walking up the White Lions like, "Yo, dog, nice job into the top lane." Bleh. Like,
yeah, just throwing a raspberry on him or something, you know. Got him, buddy.
But yeah, very good job by both teams here. Thank you all so much for tuning in as well. For myself, the entire live broadcast crew, RareAdam, our producer, and my co-caster for this evening, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, press that follow button. We have League of Legends action nearly every day for y'all to watch. There are a whole lot of teams in Style Esports, and we're playing nearly every day. So every day you get something new to watch and some new people to maybe become a fan of. Who knows? But if you're feeling generous, press that subscribe button as well. But from everyone here, thank you all so much for tuning in. GG's to both teams, and we'll see you at the next match. Bye-bye.